Odyssey app, Twitch, and YouTube. Powered by First NorCal Credit Union. The best Giants talk in the Bay is on 95.7 The Game. Reaction to every pitch.
Miller throws. He got him with the fastball. Miller's pointing at all the Reds.
Every home run.
High drive. Left field. Out of here.
And every big play.
A little slow roller. Chapman. Barehand. Got it.
It's your fix for Giants baseball.
It is a dream come true, but it's a very recent dream.
The Orange and Black Weekend Wrap.
Hit to right. Hit well. Out of here. He's got number 5.
Hello there. Dwayne Kuiper on
Starting
the call.
with the lone highlight?
Starting with the lone highlight. Bryce Eldridge hitting his 5th home run of the year to break up the shutout. Cubs still beat the Giants 5-1. God, there's a lot of starting off this show with Giants lost last night, but such is life. It is the Orange and Black Weekend Wrap. Sam Lubman here alongside Dan Devone. Steven Risotto behind the glass there. He's the one who played that highlight of Bryce Eldridge's home run. And you know, Dan, we had a great Bryce Eldridge home run on Wednesday. I don't know if you saw that walk-off grand slam and, you know, the 4,000 people that were still there in the stadium when it did happen. They got a little treat there for staying for the entire game. And that's kind of the big highlight for this team right now is whatever Bryce Eldridge does. 3 for 4 last night. And I said after the game, Dan, you know, if you're of the mindset that whatever Bryce Eldridge does can make up for, you know, what goes wrong this season. Last night was a very good first test of that theory. The Giants lost 5-1. Are you more pissed off about the loss or at least happy that we got to see another Bryce Eldridge home run? How you doing this morning, Dan?
Good. I think that might be the only selling point, right? If you're in the marketing department with the San Francisco Giants, you're just like, let's give the people a reason to come to the park. Well, it's Bryce Eldridge and his 4 at-bats. That might be the only selling point that you have going forward to somehow salvage this season.
Basically, again, he does go 3 for 4 last night.
Hey, wait, can we just go back to the home run?
Which home run?
Maybe we should dwell on the grand slam because everything else since then has just been absolutely, typical Giants baseball in 2026. They couldn't feed off of that whatsoever. But was it not palpable or was it just me? Because I heard the call driving around. I was driving on Bush Street and I'm listening to Miller's call, but with the bases juiced, the situation being what it was, Eldridge coming to the plate. Was it not just me, or was it everyone in that stadium? Was it not palpable that you're like, this is it?
It felt like
It
felt like the stars were aligning. So let me run you through my afternoon on what happened there, Dan. So I get home, I'm watching the first couple innings of the game, and they're down 2-0. I'm like, all right, probably what as good as the game's going to be like. And so I took a nap, hashtag morning show life, and I figured like, I'll just probably get the highlights or something after the game. It is what it is. That's how that's how I do it for a lot of these games. And so I go down for my nap. I wake up and it's 9-1. I'm like, good Lord, what happened here? So I rewind. I watch the 5th inning. Robbie Ray gives a base hit. Robbie Ray gives up a base hit, all with 2 outs, stolen bases. I'm like, oh, okay. It all went to crap. That's what happened. And that's Giants baseball for you. And then I get the notification, Matt Chapman home run, Rafi Devers home run, text from Joe Shasky. What, are we just stat padding home runs now? What's going on here? So then I fast forward, I go to live on the game because I was, behind because I was rewatching the 5th and 6th inning. So I catch it live and then it's 9-4. Then it's 9-5. And then you get the run that scores on the wild pitch to make it 9-6. And Kruko has the line, there's the rally killing wild pitch, which, I thought was a pretty funny line there. And then it's 10-6. And bottom of the 9th, guy gets on. All right, we got some going here. And, in our Morning Roast text thread, we're texting each other. And Shasky's like, oh, my God, Bryce Eldridge walk-off grand slam, please. And I'm like, oh, my God, that would literally make the season. And then Jung-Hoo Lee steps up to the plate. And they're down, 3 at this point, right? Because they're down 10-7. And he hits that foul ball to right field. I almost lose my mind because I thought Jung-Hoo Lee just tied it. And no, he draws the walk, gets on base. And I think that was the only walk he's gotten during his 18-game hitting streak.
Did it end last night?
It did end last night. And so bases loaded, then Bryce is up, and it's just like, this is just one of those stars are aligning moments here. Like, if this happened, this would actually be insane. And then what do you know?
Oh, so you still qualified it with an if. I was like, there was something about me, and this isn't like Monday morning quarterbacking. I'm just like, he's going out of the yard. I never felt so sure about something that was about to happen. There was no if, and it was just, I almost sense like anybody else that's listening to this game right now knows what is about to take place. It just felt as though, to steal your phrase, that the stars were aligned. He's the rookie. He's done everything right up to this point. He strides to the plate, bases loaded. This is his moment. That thing is out of here. He's even before the pitch was thrown. It's like, I know how this is.
It felt like all the stars were aligning there. And then when that ball hit the bat, it was just, I'm going nuts. I'm running around my apartment. I'm screaming. I'm yelling. It made the entire day. Like, I was smiling for the rest of the day. I was smiling for all of Thursday, and I was smiling for most of all of yesterday until, I got to the ballpark and reality started.
You know what the Giants should have done? Again. Much like that in Notre Dame, who refused to play in their bowl game. They should have just ended the season right there.
Honestly, if that was the capper on the season, I think a lot of Giants fans would have been okay with that.
They just don't even show up for the Cubs series. Like, that's it. We're leaving on a high note.
Oh, my God.
This is saying, so long, everybody.
There we go, and that's the show, everybody. Bye. No.
Bye, Felisa. But starting early.
That was one of those days where it was just, again, that could be the high point of the year. Maybe there's another moment later in the year they were looking to, but what made that moment so special is that it felt like, all right, Bryce just arrived. Like, he's been up here for a few weeks already. He's approaching a month that he's been up here. I think it's been about a month that he's been up here. But that grand slam walk-off, because he's had home runs already, that is why, again, afterwards he's saying he wants to be the face of the franchise. That's why you're not super side-eyeing him when he says that, because that's the kind of moment that face the franchise type players have, is they come up in those moments and they deliver that big hit, that big moment. And there's no way you could take the kid out of the lineup now.
Oh,
he is absolutely
that conversation went out the door a month ago. No, it is so gone. And
is anyone at all caring about the fact that he was in and out of the lineup those first couple weeks?
We don't, but it was a mistake. I think we can all revisit that and saying, hey, listen,
I don't know. It seems like it's worked out pretty well.
No, it's clear that he should, to me, it's proof that he should have been in the lineup from day one, because all he needed was to see more reps. The more pitches he sees, the better he gets. The idea of sitting him, to me, is that there's no way, the only way to sort of pass judgment on that decision is that it was a huge blunder on the part of the Giants.
Well, I'll say this, Dan, because before the game last night, during Tony Vitello's pregame scrum, I asked Tony about that, and we're going to go to some sound early here, but I asked him straight up, because a few weeks ago, let me set this up. A few weeks ago, I asked him, how can Bryce get better when he's not getting regular at-bats? And Tony talked about just the importance of being able to watch games and divest yourself emotionally from them. And
that's horse crap.
Yeah, you know what? But hey, Bryce is doing pretty well right now. Whether that's on Bryce, whether that's on Tony. But anyway, I asked Tony last night, hey, a few weeks ago, you said that he can learn a lot by watching. How much would you say those first few weeks kind of got him ready for where he's at right now? Here is what Tony said about that.
Yeah, I think it provides a little bit of perspective when you're in the game, even in the dugout, but much more so in the game. Things move a lot faster and your emotions are involved and the fire's kind of burning a little bit hotter. But if you get removed from it a little bit, but you're still invested heavily and you're thinking through things, it's just a much more rational perspective, much more calm perspective, and you start to see things a little bit slower again when you're not in the mix. It makes it easier to say, well, I would do this in this situation or that situation. And then when you're put in that spot, if you've done that, it's almost like deja vu, and it's almost like you've seen the future.
So again, I do think there's something to be said about,
I can't go
doing the work. You're not behind it. That's like
Aaron Judge coming up and the Yankees sitting him and he hits like 5 home runs in his first 10 at bats, and they're saying, well, the reason why he's so good is because we sat him. I can't go there, Tony. I'm sorry. This dude was ready to mash from day one, and the only thing that not playing him did is just it sort of, in a way, it delayed his progress. Sitting and watching when it comes to baseball, I don't think you learn that way. The San Francisco Giants missed on this kid. He should have been hitting from day one. And it doesn't matter on what side of the bump the pitcher was. He's proved he can hit left-handers and right-handers. He just needed to see major league pitching and a steady diet of it, which would have accelerated his growth. The idea
But what more accelerating do you need to do? I mean, he's looking like everything you would want him to be right now. I'm not saying he's a finished product yet. He's still 21 years old. Like, he was still like, I was at the game. We had our friend Steven Ruderman was there with me last night. We're talking about this. I'm like, dude, he's 21 years old. Like, he's not even going to probably hit his full gear to what he can be for another 2 or 3 years when he's 23 or 24. And he's not going to hit his prime until he's around 26 or 27. Like, there is so much baseball ahead for this kid. If he's in and out of the lineup the first 2 or 3 weeks, is that frustrating? Absolutely. But if he's hitting like he is right now, like, I'm not going to think all that much about it anymore. And I asked Tony afterwards, like, did you ever have a situation at Tennessee where you did this maybe with like a freshman? And we didn't pull the sound, and maybe we can pull it later if you really want to hear the answer. But he said basically that he talked about a player he once had who had a similar profile to Bryce Eldridge. His name was Blake Burke. And as a freshman, yeah, he played, I think, 45 of the 60 games that you play in college baseball. This was in, what was yours, 22 season, I think? Something like that in the years.
Where's Blake Burke today?
Anyway, so Blake Burke had a very good career at Tennessee, his sophomore through senior years. And right now, he's the number 15 prospect in the Brewers system. And the Brewers team, a Brewers organization that, knows how to identify talent and develop talent. So, again, the reason I asked that last night at Tony is like, was there precedent for doing what you did with Bryce? Because remember, Tony does come from a different background than most managers. He's coming from that college circuit. And his, I think, ideal of how you develop players, and maybe I'm making excuses for him, I'll allow for that, but like his idea of how he develops players might be slightly different than what we're used to at the big league level, because how you develop players in college is going to be different than how you develop players at the big league level. Bryce is 21 years old. He should be a junior in college right now. Like, he is not like some finished product prospect coming out of college that's kind of ready to go. There is still some shaping and molding you need to do on this kid to get him to where he needs to be. We are seeing him get to where he needs to be right now. And I'll be honest, I'm looking at what Tony did, holding him in and out of the lineup, something he says he's done before, and the fact that it's paying off dividends. Like, listen, did I like it in the process? No. But the fact that it's paying off dividends right now, I can look back and like, you know what, Tony? It worked out that time.
Well, you have arrived, and I don't know, maybe you're certainly not alone. You've arrived at that conclusion that it's paid off dividends. I don't know that that's necessarily the case. And I don't think by not playing him, you can now take credit for the fact that he didn't play in those games. I'm with you. It's so early on in his career, right? There's so much more meat on that bone. But who's to say that if he came up, and I'm of the belief that he's the way I see it, and I guess there's two sides to this coin. The way I see it is that he's proven that he should have been playing from day one. And right now, he's just trying to qualify his excuse as to why they sat him because he's playing so well. I understand where you're coming from. The other way to look at it, in those games he didn't play, what if he did play? Could you have won that game? Could he have given you a home run, or could he have provided could he have been the difference maker as he was earlier this week with the walk-off grand slam? Because to me, taking credit to the fact that he didn't play when he first came up is not something that I'm buying or swallowing. I think to me, this is just underlining the point that this guy's the real deal. He's the phenom. We haven't seen anything like this since Buster Posey. And from day one, he should have been in that lineup.
I mean, you could also say, again, this is hindsight. We have no way of knowing this. But if he is in the lineup every day, and again, this is the guy who, I mean, there was a lot of strikeouts in his game early on. There weren't a lot of hits in his game early on.
So you attribute the fact that that he's been able to reduce his strikeouts, and the fact that he's been able to play to contact now is because he didn't play, because he's able to sit there and through osmosis, he's watching the game and process and get better that way?
No, I'm suggesting that there's an alternate reality where he does play every day and the strikeouts don't go away and he's not getting any better. No, this is a guy who is hitting...
But it's been proven that it has worked, because the more at-bats he got, the deeper he got into counts, and the more pitches he saw, we saw the patience and the whole thing begin to slow down for him. So by not starting him from Jump Street, it just slowed that whole process.
Well, again, but it didn't slow that process, though, because we're seeing the results of it right now. I mean, he easily could have been jammed in the lineup right away, every day, no matter what, and absolutely flailed to the point where it's like, you know what, maybe you aren't ready at this big league level. Again, we've never seen guys slow played in like this. I mean, I'll go back to, again, this is going way back but when Brandon Belt first came up, granted, Belt, I don't think was at the caliber of prospect that Bryce Eldridge was, though there was a lot of hype about Brandon Belt. He was
the next Posey.
He was a dark horse rookie of the year candidate going into that 2011 season, whether we believe that or not. But he was yo-yoed up and down because at times he was just overmatched at that big league level. Now, again, what we know about development in 2011 is very different about what we know about it now. Bruce Bochy has his way of how he thinks to bring players along. Tony Vitello has his way on how he wants to bring players along. But I don't know, maybe there is something to be said about how an extra month in the minors could have been beneficial for Brandon Belt to where he does not get yo-yoed up and down as much in that 2011 season. Or maybe that's just who the player Belt was. It's really impossible to know because you only get developed once, So,
But that's not the analogy that we're making here. You're saying that if Brandon Belt came up and sat, he would have been better or further along or would have expedited.
Well, I don't know. Maybe just kind of, a couple days in the lineup, a couple days out, couple days in the lineup, a couple days out. Maybe there is something to be said about you have a couple of days and then you take a couple of days to kind of, reflect, review, and go back and learn from what you did. Then you get back in the lineup, apply those lessons. Okay, let's take you out a couple of days now. Focus on these situations. What are you doing in this situation? How are you handling that situation? What does this situation look like at the big league level? Because, again, it's a faster game at the big league level than it is at the minor league level, than it is at the high school level where Bryce Eldridge once was. I do think there is something to be said about just, I don't know if this is a like for like, Dan, but when we break in new producers here at the station, they don't do any producing, actually. When we first taught Steven Risotto, who's on the board right now doing a hell of a job,
Rising star. He's arrived.
He is the Bryce Eldridge of this station.
Shut
up. Risotto, the first few times he was on the board, did not touch the board. It's just watch, see what we're doing here, see what this button does, see what that button does, notice what this guy's doing when this happens. There's a lot that you can, as Yogi Berra once said, you can observe a lot by watching. And so I think there is we call it shadowing here at the station. Again, I'm not saying that running the board and being a baseball player are the same thing, but I do think there are instances in life where, again, maybe it's abnormal in this baseball industry, but I think as we've seen, there is something to be said about you can learn by watching. I didn't think that he was going to be in that situation, the whole watch and observe, scenario for a prolonged period of time. Like if it's a month later and he's still being yo-yoed in and out of the lineup, then yeah, we're probably shaking some sticks at Tony V. But it took 2 or 3 weeks, and now he's in the lineup consistently. Was because of the Ramos injury? Maybe. Sometimes injuries create opportunities for careers to happen. If you don't believe me, Google Draymond Green. But the fact of the matter is, we've arrived to where we're at right now.
Yeah, I guess it doesn't matter. We're splitting hairs. We're at where we're at. You have one school of thought, and I completely disagree. But he's here, and he's one of the rising stars in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of where we're at right now. But at the same time, there is a part of me that's like, as we were side-eyeing Tony on this,
you want to attribute the success of Eldridge to Tony Vitello much more so than I do. I guess is the bottom line.
I guess I don't know. I'm not trying to I think it's an amalgamation of things. Like there's a lot of things that play a role in it. I'm not going to say that it's the reason why Bryce is at where he's at right now. But a
significant contributing factor.
I wonder if there is a method to the madness of Tony Vitello here, is what I'm saying. Buster brought Tony in to be different. Like if he wanted a same cookie cutter manager, he could have gone out and hired literally any other manager out there. He could have brought in Craig Albernaz. He could have kept Bob Melvin. There were so many other managerial options that Buster could have gone with that were considered quote-unquote traditional options. He went with a non-traditional option. He went to the college route where things are done differently, where kids are brought along differently. Tony has a different baseball background than guys who have been in the major leagues for a long time. Like even a guy like Pat Murphy, who was once a college coach, he had a long run as a major league coach before becoming a manager. So when you bring a guy along who's different, who's going to do things differently, you're going to see some things that you've probably never seen before. And this was one of those things. And thank God it worked out, because you imagine if Bryce was struggling still after all that, then yeah, I'll say this, Dan. If Bryce had 1 home run and a bajillion strikeouts and he was in the lineup every day, then there's a part of me that's looking at what went on those first 2 weeks. I'm like, well, you know what, Tony? Maybe you should have been playing him every day. But that's not the timeline we live in.
Well, let me ask you this. Are we sure that it was Tony Vitello's call not to play him?
From what we've been hearing and told, Tony puts the lineup together.
So Buster Posey brings him up clearly, and then Tony Vitello's going to override him and decide not to put him in the lineup?
I don't know if overriding is the right word, but my guess is, again, if Buster's bringing in a guy like Tony, he's doing so knowing that you're going to get a different approach than what we're used to seeing. You can't bring in a guy to be different, who's different, and then just be like, but I want you to be the exact same as everybody else. I do think if you're Buster, you're bringing in Tony because you know you're getting a different point of view and perspective. That's what you're searching for. You're embracing that different point of view and perspective. So if Tony's saying, hey, here's the case I'm going to make for how we bring along Bryce Eldridge, I think reason A, reason B, reason C, we do all these things, and Bryce will end up being where we want him to go. It's on Tony to make that sell. Like, if I have an idea for this station, for the show, I go into our boss, Matt Nahigian, and I say, hey, coach, I think we should do this, this, and this. He'll be like, I don't like that idea. Do it this way. Or he'll be like, you know what? I like that idea. Go ahead and do that. Again, this is just my theory. This isn't reporting anything. I'm doing some, reckless speculation, as I like to call it. But if Tony went into Buster's office and said, hey, Buster, here's my idea, A, B, C, D, and Buster's like, you know what? You sold me. I think it's probably more nuanced than that.
I don't know the dynamics. I know typically that a president of baseball ops will make the decision to bring somebody up. In fact, I know that's his decision. It's not Tony Vitello. And if you bring up somebody like that, a Bryce Eldridge, it's not like you're bringing up any other rookie or anybody else from the minor league system. You're bringing up your prize pig. This is the kid, right? And so if he comes up and then the manager on the third day decides not to play him, I'm just wondering whether he has the latitude to do that. And again, I don't know. It's different for every organization. More often than not, it's the president of baseball ops that is sort of hands-on and will make those calls. So again, not knowing the relationship between the two, I'm just sort of curious as to whether it was Buster Posey at the end of the day that decided not to play him, either or, whether it's on Buster Posey or whether it's on Tony Vitello. The way I digest this is that it's been proven to be a clear mistake because this guy has proven that he can hit, and the more pitching he sees, the better he gets. So by not playing, it just sort of slowed the process. I get it. There's a lot of baseball to be played, but the bottom line is the dude is for real.
Well, I guess I know what more are you gaining by those, 5 or 6, hitting him into those 5, 6, 7, 8, however many games that he missed. And I see here on our text line here from the 707, maybe SF isn't 13 under if Eldridge plays from the jump. Sure, maybe they're 9 under. What kind of differences are we really talking about here?
9 and 13 are
and then the game. 9 games under first 13 games. They're you're still out of it. I don't think those missed games are the difference between the Giants being 13, 14 games under or versus above 500. I don't think the difference is that stark if he's playing from day one. I think the issues of this team go far deeper than however often Bryce was in the lineup.
I don't think it's about the team and the record and the improvement. It's more about, because we're still learning about Buster Posey and or Tony Vitello. To me, it's more of providing an insight as to how these guys run baseball organizations and or how they handle their prospects and baseball players that they're managing. To me, lending insight to two guys that we're unfamiliar with, that sort of intel to me is what I find provocative in all of this. And in this instance, I can't say this across the board, but in this instance, to me, they got it wrong.
Well, again, I think in this, everything about Bryce, again, every prospect's going to be brought up a little bit differently. And I think that'll be interesting. You kind of say, is this maybe the beginning of a precedent? We'll see when it comes to these younger players here. The next player of Bryce's caliber that we're going to be seeing that's called up probably is going to be one of our teenage shortstops that are down in low A ball. I'm talking about Josar Gonzalez.
Can either one of those guys play second base?
Johnny Lovell, one of them's going to have to. You got 3 guys. All 3 of them can't play shortstop, especially when Rock Chorowski comes along in a few weeks here.
He's not going to come to the Giants.
Again, or Jackson Flora. I want to be one of those 2.
You knew about Jackson Flora. Have you been doing your homework about
I did a little bit of it. You brought him onto my radar, and I've seen some other people tweeting about him too. So I don't do a whole lot of deep dives on the MLB draft because it's if I'm not going to see you for 5 years, I'm just not going to think about you all that much. But
Mizorowski, Skeens, fast track, year and a half, these guys come up. So
no, it does some. Hey, I saw Tim Lincecum make his debut less than 12 months after he was drafted by the Giants. So it does happen. But my point, I
bumped Tim Lincecum from my show when he came from the University of Washington.
Yeah,
I was there, and one of the PR guys at the University of Washington said, "Hey, do you want to have Tim?" I did a show on Sundays. It was a half-hour variety show. We talk about sports and sometimes local sports. And I remember the PR guy from the University of Washington said, "Hey, any chance our star pitcher Tim Lincecum come on your show?" I'm like, "Who?" And I told my producer, I'm like, nah, we don't want any college baseball players.
This kid's never going to be anything. Look how small he is.
Anyways.
Oh, so you blew him off.
I blew him off.
I think he stinks.
Yeah, right.
Dang, you're probably the only person in the Bay Area who could probably say, yeah.
And then
there's more.
Well, then he becomes a star, and then I was here in San Francisco while I was working in Seattle. I was doing a live shot back to Seattle, and I went to whoever it was for the Giants asking if Tim Lincecum would would join me on my pregame show going back to Seattle, and he said, "Screw you, Dan." So it comes full circle.
Oh, you're on Timmy's hate list. But the point I was making is, like, when it comes to Bryce, the next time we're going to see a hitter of Bryce's caliber reach the big leagues in the Giants system, it's going to be one of our teenage shortstops, Gonzalez, Hernandez, or Johnny Lovell. So I guess to say, Dan, is this how they're going to bring all their big prospects along, where they bring them up and they're in and out of the lineup before fully getting into the lineup? I don't know, because we're not going to be able to get another test of that theory for at least a couple years, unless the Giants, of course, trade someone this offseason or this upcoming summer. And
that's where I want to go with that about the second baseman. Let's revisit it later in the show.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was asking whether one of those kids can play at second base, and I'll tell you why.
We definitely get to that. We can get into that a little bit on the other side. I do want to talk about last night's game. A little bit of rough start for Landon Roop, and that's kind of been the theme for him. Again, Giants lose 5-1. Roop goes 4 2/3, gives up 4 earned runs. He is 0-6 with a 5.77 ERA. In his last 8 starts, Dan. This is after getting off to a 4-1 start and a 3.77 ERA. We're talking about development here. This kid, Landon Roop, is was supposed to be a big part of this Giants' future, and he is going through it right now. Anyway, we are coming to you live from the Laughing Monk Studios. Laughing Monk, righteously brewed in San Francisco. We'll talk about last night's game a little bit, get into second base a little bit as well, and also Bryce Harper, face of the franchise.
Eldridge.
Are you game?
Eldridge.
Did I say Harper? Bryce Eldridge, face of the franchise. Are we game? Brought to you by Fairmont Bank. Here for you. Here for good.
What if you could have the most reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi? And get this, what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years? During the Xfinity Summer Savings Event, now through June 15th, new customers can get our best price on gig Wi-Fi, just $50 a month for 5 years. And get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi. It's Wi-Fi that finds and fixes problems before you even notice them, like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a sixth sense. Plus, add 1 line of Xfinity Mobile Select and you can save an average of $60 a month over Verizon and AT&T. You can even try it free for a year. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities during the Xfinity Summer Savings Event. Get it now at Xfinity.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Savings based on 1 gig internet and 1 mobile select line compared to similar Verizon and AT&T plans over 5 years. After 12 months, regular rates apply to mobile select. Xfinity internet required. Speeds vary. Use of fiber coaxial cable.
In 2026, Bay Alarm celebrates 80 years of security. For the Bay Area, that means local service including burglar and fire alarm systems, 24/7 in-house monitoring, and custom security designed to work with business operations. Bay Alarm has real people rooted in your community looking out for your business. After 8 decades and 3 generations of family ownership, our promise is still the same. We got you. Learn more at bayalarm.com.
You only get one shot at this. One chance to handle your injury case the right way. One chance to get the compensation you actually need. And one chance to protect your future. And once you make the wrong move, you don't get a do-over. Sign too early, it's final. Say the wrong thing, it's recorded. Take a low offer, you can't go back. Before you make any decisions, call Beam Law. They'll step in immediately, guiding you, protecting you, and making sure every move is made with your best outcome in mind. Beam Law has recovered millions for clients across the Bay Area and has been named Best of the Bay by SF Weekly 4 times. If you've been injured or lost someone due to someone else's negligence, don't take that risk. Call Beam Law now at 415-523-5555, 415-523-5555. That's 415-523-5555, or visit hurtinthebay.com. That's hurtinthebay.com, because it's not whether you get knocked down, it's whether you get back up. Beam Law, they've got your back, Bay Area.
And now, your Live Nation lineup.
4th of July Fireworks Spectacular at the SF Symphony at Shoreline Amphitheater on July 4th. Low Cut Connie at the Fillmore on July 15th. Evanescence at Shoreline Amphitheater on July 20th.
This pain is just too
and Dirty Heads at Toyota Pavilion at Concord on August 15th.
Amber is the color of your energy.
That was your Live Nation lineup.
For tickets and info, hit up livenation.com.
Reach your saving goals with Miristar Momentum Savings. Progress should come with perks. Every $25 you save earns an entry to win cash prizes. We're drawing winners for $1,000 monthly, $5,000 quarterly, and an annual grand prize of $10,000. Saving has never been this rewarding. Apply today at miristarfcu.org. Insured by NCUA, no purchase necessary. Terms and conditions apply. See website for full details.
NASCAR is coming to San Diego for the first ever race on an active military base. Next weekend, tickets are still available for the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series on Naval Base Coronado. Now, race fans can get 2-for-1 tickets to NASCAR Country Fest at Gallagher Square, Petco Park, June 20th, right after the checkered flag flies. Stephen Wilson Jr., George Burge, and a special tribute to Kyle Busch. Get 2-for-1 tickets before they're gone to NASCAR Country Fest at Ticketmaster.com.
We all know what the two best words in sports are. Game 7. But the number 7 has even more meaning in vodka. Because when a vodka is 7 times distilled, it creates a smooth, premium taste that is unbeatable. And there's no better vodka than New Vodka. Spelled N-U-E, New Vodka is 7 times distilled, not 7 times the price. It's an award-winning, American-made vodka that is smooth enough to sip and bold enough to mix. So at a time when everything costs more, New Vodka is the best deal in town. Pick up a bottle of New Vodka at your local liquor store today and cheers to something new. Visit newvodka.com to find out more. That's NUEvodka.com.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I built this business the old-fashioned way. Hard work and a whole lot of spreadsheets.
Yeah, about that, I upgraded us to Odoo. Odoo puts everything we need, sales, inventory, accounting, on one connected platform. No more juggling systems, no more headaches.
So it all works together?
Exactly.
Odoo is the all-in-one business software that makes running and passing on a business easier than ever. Take your business into the next generation. Try Odoo free at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
Now back to the Orange and Black Weekend Wrap on 95.7 The Game.
Oh, it was a great day on that Wednesday.
Who had the better call, Miller or Kipe?
I don't think I've heard John Miller's call.
Oh, you got to listen to Miller's. It's
Did I hear it?
Pretty amazing.
Yeah, but I mean, Kuiper's was good too. I mean, they're always a fun call when it's a moment like that. Again, that was Bryce Eldridge's walk-off grand slam from Wednesday against the Nationals. Giants came back from down 9-1 and won that game 11-10. The Giants were 0-30, Dan, when trailing after 6 innings this season before Wednesday's game. And now then they were 1-30. And now they're 1-31 though after last night's game. And again, as much as last night's loss sucks, I think Giants fans, I wonder, are still riding a little bit high off of that home run from Wednesday. And the fact that Bryce went deep again last night, again, it eases the pain of losing 5-1. Bryce did have 3 of the Giants' 4 hits last night, so he continues to be the bright spot in this Giants lineup. And again, if you're looking for reasons to be excited about this team the rest of the season, I don't, like Dan, last week you said, maybe they can go on a run. Sure. Legally they still can.
I still believe.
Nights like last night kind of, dampened my own little expectations of that. But if Bryce Eldridge has a successful rookie campaign, whatever you, Dan, Steven, and the Giants fan listening to this deem to be an acceptable rookie campaign, Giants could lose 98, 100 games, and you're still going to be feeling good because you have your franchise centerpiece in Bryce Eldridge, and it seems like he's arrived. And Dan, like I remember when Tim Lincecum first arrived in 2007, and he got that ovation coming out of the dugout to face Cole Hamels and the Phillies, and it felt like, oh wow, something just changed here. Like our guy just got here. When Buster Posey arrived a couple years later, there was a change. Like, oh yo, we got a dude now in this lineup. This feels very similar to where the team may not be where we want it to be overall, but there's a direction now. There's a leader of this team, so to speak, that we can fall in behind and be like, all right, Bryce, you're the guy who's going to lead us forward here. And that's why he's saying things, after the game on Wednesday, like he wants to be the face of this franchise.
I think the dynamic of this baseball team is slowly morphing into the big three is no longer Adames, Chapman, and Devers, but rather it's Eldridge, Casey Schmidt, and Jung-Hoo Lee.
I agree.
Like that's sort of who it is that you're investing.
And that's a huge development for this team.
Yeah, and I think and so where I wanted to go as it relates to the big three and Chapman, and this is just sort of feeding the trade rumor mill, but there's been a lot of talk. Dave Dombrowski out in Philadelphia now is throwing his hat into the ring, and there's some chirping that the Phillies need a third baseman. You've mentioned this in the past. With the Giants, now that he's hitting, right? And now that he's no longer somebody, I mean, I think when you first entertained that, it was almost as though, what can we get back for Chapman? Well, now you're going to get back something relatively significant because his defense is still for real. Mm-hmm. And he made
a great play going to his right last night, crossbody throw last night.
How he got that throw off, I have no idea.
Yeah.
He is still very good.
He does it all the time, but when you do see it, it's an absolute, just so fun to watch.
So can the Giants move off of Chapman at the deadline? That's the big question going forward. Casey Schmidt, now you slide him down. He plays his natural position at third, all right? You're losing a little bit in terms of leadership, and you're certainly losing something defensively, even though Schmidt is a decent defender at that position. The question then becomes, who plays second base? Because to me, you still have to move off of Arise. And that kills me. That kills me to have to even say or arrive at that conclusion. But if you're going to be rational about this, Arise has to go. And I love that guy not only for his bat, but for the entertainment value as well. So that's why the question that I asked you earlier, is there somebody that you can plug and play? Because now second baseman becomes a cavity. What is it that you do at second base if Casey Schmidt goes over to third, Elliot Ramos takes his rightful place over at left, and now you have a hole at second base? If indeed Chapman becomes, and of course I'm getting way ahead of myself.
Yeah, well, I do think, honestly, if you do move Matt Chapman, I do think that gives you some sort of a runway to potentially extend Luis Arias. He is 28 years old.
You can't, though, for the very reason that you just mentioned in the last segment. You have a logjam of players. At the
but I mean, it's 2026 right now. Like, Dan, Josar Gonzalez, Johnny Level, Luis Hernandez, they're in rookie ball and A ball. Like, Johnny Level is in high A ball right now. He's probably the furthest along, and his projected ETA, according to MLB.com, is 2029, and that's if everything goes well. Hernandez and Gonzalez, you're looking at 2030 for those guys to get up here.
But
you still need an option.
A long-term contract.
I don't know how you think 5 or 6 years for Arias.
Longer than that, because this is his deal. To set up, he's late 20s. He just did this to get the long-term deal. Like, he wants to set himself up for the rest of his career.
And maybe that's true. Maybe that was always the plan for the Giants, no matter how well he performed this year. So in that case, yeah, you're probably trading both of them. Who you plug in there, maybe it is Casey Schmidt moving to second base. Honestly, the most likely situation is Casey Schmidt's going to get moved to second base after Arias gets traded. And those are probably going to be your deals.
Chapman doesn't go.
I'm still skeptical that Chapman does get moved. Like, I do agree, like, Phillies, Yankees, especially with the way, with Alec Boehm, he's struggling at third base for the Yankees. Ryan McMahon's with the Yankees, Alec Boehm with the Phillies. Let's get everything organized here. Potentially, I guess, Chapman could be on their radar. Those are both teams that can definitely take on money there. Listen, if you're in both of those guys, if you're moving both those guys, I don't know, maybe you'll probably see Christian Koss called up at minimum for a little bit to plug in for a period of time there. But off the top of my head, I'm not quite sure who would be then your second baseman beyond that for
next year. I'm thinking. I mean, if you're going to be sellers this year, if you're this far under 500 and you decide that you're going to sell, then if you get rid of so now you unload a huge contract in all those years, right? When it comes to Chapman. And so you free up Casey Schmidt. But the question again, next year, I guess is my question, and I don't know these minor leaguers as well as you do, so the question becomes, what are these middle infielders down at the minor league level ready to come, say, opening day 2027?
Another option I guess you could do, and this probably wouldn't be the sexiest option, is you bring Jesus Rodriguez back, give him a shot at third base, and move Casey Schmidt to second base.
Does he play third?
He can play third. He can be positioned at third base, and you can ask him to field a ground ball, and if a ground ball is hit to him, there is a percentage chance that he will cleanly field said ground ball.
We're getting into a very scary sort of territory.
We're also sorry, I don't mean to cut you off there, but there's also what you get back for guys like Chapman or Arias. So I mean that could your player to be named later could also be one of your fill-ins.
But it's interesting that you mentioned Rodriguez, and let's just put him in at third because he's played there or he can field ground balls. I think that that's sort of the pill that's being swallowed, and it's really a dangerous area that the San Francisco Giants are sort of sliding into. Because this team, because of the ballpark and the area, the marine layer, whatever it is, it's still built on defense, pitching, and then the timely hitting. The defense has slowly morphed and dissipated over the years that when you see Chapman at third base doing what it is that he's doing, it now clearly stands out because he's by far, head and shoulders, the best defender on this team. The idea of why playing Casey Schmidt at left field, to me, is so wrong, and I get it.
He misplayed a double from Suzuki down the line yesterday.
Yeah, he couldn't get to the wall.
But you know you're going to have those growing pains with him.
But that's just it. What is with the growing pains and learning at the major league level? Since when do the Giants do that? This is not where you make mistakes to cost yourself games at the major league. Like, that's, to me, if that's Posey and that, again, getting back to Vitello, if that's their way of thinking, I couldn't oppose that more. That's like, you don't do that, especially at Oracle Park. But all of a sudden, it's become this accepted norm. Casey Schmidt, I'm sorry, and I know a lot of people are like, he's not bad, Dan. He's okay. He looks like a baby mule every time he gets underneath a fly ball. Those legs, he looks like Thomas Hearns against Marvin Hagler.
I think he's been serviceable and left.
But that's just it. All of a sudden, serviceable is okay.
Well, serviceable is something you can approve on, though.
But the point being is that the Giants, if the recipe still holds and the template is still that this team has to be built on defense. Let's not forget this was a defense once of Brandon Belt holding down one corner, Chapman at the other, and then Crawford at your shortstop and Buster Posey as your battery mate. I mean, it didn't get any better, and you knew that was all buttoned up, and it had to be because you were relying on pitching, keeping the numbers down low, call it torch or whatever, and then getting the timely hits. But now, if you're going to tell me, let's just plug Rodriguez at third. He can handle a ground ball. Casey Schmidt, go play left field. Rodriguez, remember him? Let's just stick you out in right field, young fella. Like, that's a scary sort of way of thinking that I think is being sort of adopted by, I don't mean to single you out, but I think management of the San Francisco Giants are trying to tell you that, this guy can play third, he can play left, or he can play right. And I think that we have to reconsider just how difficult that is to do at Oracle.
Yeah, but at the same time, again, when you are a team that you're not competing, let's be real, the Giants are rebuilding right now. Like, the Giants are in a rebuild, whether it's been for a couple years, whether it's been from 10 years. The Giants are a rebuilding team right now, even though they do have these big contracts.
But not when Rodriguez is playing right field and you moved Casey Schmidt out.
Part of rebuilding is you are trying things like that. You are trying guys out of positions to see if there's a fit there. I mean,
so you think they were rebuilding 2 months ago when they made that move to stick him out in right field?
I think when you're bringing in new prospects and you're bringing these guys up, you're going to try them in positions and you want to see if these things can work out. Clearly, they say, you know what, maybe Rodriguez, that thing doesn't work in the outfield. But there was a time, Dan, when they had, a big-bodied catcher. Hey, let's stick him at third base, see what happens. And Pablo Sandoval had a pretty good career. So, there is some precedent to doing that. That said, if you're not sold on Jesus Rodriguez, again, we can look down the depth chart of other guys they have. Guys who have been around for a while. Iverson Arteaga, he's been in the top 30 prospects for the Giants for a little while. Osivas Basabe, again, that's a guy who I saw him in spring training. He looked all right. I don't know how much he's a long-time sticker here. The name I'm kind of thinking about, though, is the guy they got back in the Camilo Doval trade last year is Parks Harbor, who's been kind of slowly working his way up the prospect rankings of late. He's a corner infielder. He can also play a little bit of outfield. He's right now their number 9 ranked prospect. That's another guy who I think could, and he's in Double-A right now, so they'd have to be bumping him up quite a bit if they did bring him up. But again, you're looking for future options there in this infield. That's another guy who I might kind of keep an eye on as a potential infield option going forward. Should the Giants move off of Arias, when the Giants move off Arias, and should they move off of Matt Chapman at third base?
Well, it's not only Chapman, but it's Devers as well. Has Devers hit enough where the Yankees and or the Phillies will say, let's get you back to your natural position at third base?
I go back and forth with the Rafi Devers thing. There's a part of me that thinks it's too difficult to move Rafi right now.
I'm just saying, if the Phillies are like in on him, or the Yankees, the two teams that can afford him.
Listen, if those teams want to come here and say, hey, we'll eat a big old boatload of that contract and take it off your hands, and if they can if the Giants and Yankees can work out a fair deal here, then I almost think, you go ahead and make that move. It's just not something I'm going to hold my breath on, and it is a thing, Dan. I do wonder, now that you have Bryce in place, you're going to keep him at DH, maybe you swap him and Rafi out at first base from time to time. If you do feel confident with Bryce Eldridge on this team going forward and anchoring this lineup, it bumps Rafi Devers kind of into being the second hitter in this lineup. Like right now, he's expected to be the premier hitter, but if you can get Bryce Eldridge as the quote-unquote premier hitter in this lineup, I think it slots Rafi down into the number 2 hitter spot, not the second spot in the lineup, but just your second best hitter. And I think that's a role that's probably better for him. I don't think he needs the pressure of being the best hitter in the lineup. I don't think he's ever really been well-suited as being the best hitter in the lineup. The best Red Sox teams that he was on, he was always either the second or third best hitter in that lineup. So if you got guys who can kind of take that lineup pressure off of Devers, I think it makes it easier to hold on to Rafi Devers. And then all of a sudden, at 28 years old, he's a guy who would actually make sense to hold on to him, to pair up with Bryce Eldridge. Will it be a weird fit? Yeah, but they could both handle those positions. You can DH one, first base the other. But there's an argument made that those two in the lineup together could work out really well together, actually. And that is part of the reason why I think you would want to hold on to Rafi Devers, at least right now.
But right now, he's not hitting is the problem. A lot of this still remains conjecture with this guy.
I mean, he was just hitting really well a month, a couple weeks ago. But is this who
Devers is? Like last night, taking that called third strike, he took the call last night.
He had two really bad called third strikes.
I mean, is this who he is? Just feast or famine? I mean, we're still getting to know the guy. He wasn't this way in Boston. He's not hitting here in San Francisco with any consistency.
I will say this: I think the number one reason you do want to trade Rafi is if you just don't know if the fit is right here in San Francisco. This is something I was talking about last night. Like, when you're playing in Boston, it's a lot warmer there for most of the year. And so the ball's going to carry a little bit more. That marine layer can be very tough here. I do think he's a guy that, while he's with the Giants, he should be leading the league in doubles every year. By the way, check who's leading league in doubles right now. Let's run Rafi Devers. So in that sense, he is playing, I think, or hitting to how he should be playing in this park. But damn, maybe he's just a guy, he's better in warmer weather. In day games this year, he has an 838 OPS versus a 616 OPS in night games. I mean, a guy who's had, a lot of years, again, in Boston where it's warmer during the summer. Maybe it is one of those things that as the weather's warming up, which is as we're seeing here in San Francisco of late, it's been getting warmer. It's going to be another warm one today. You're seeing his bat heat up a little bit.
164 in his last 13 games.
Maybe that's just, he's a streaky hitter.
That's my point. He wasn't streaky in Boston. He was like the best hitter to the league.
Yeah, there was some streakiness when he was in Boston. The strikeouts were still there when he was in Boston.
I'm just saying, like, you got a lot of meat on that bone. You got another 8 years in that contract. And I'm just saying, do you cut your losses? I'm just throwing it out there. That way, Bryce Eldridge, how many teams have their best hitter as a designated hitter? Jordan Alvarez, it's been done.
Yeah. The Red Sox did it for years with David Ortiz.
Yeah, I think that you can do it. But, I think you get Eldridge at first base. But the Devers thing is getting to the point where just when you think like, oh, it's Devers. Like a month ago, we were like, finally, he's arrived, and now he's right back to where he was.
But who's say that in a couple weeks, a week from now, we're like, oh, it's Devers, and then he starts picking it up again. It's easy to want to trade him right now when he's in a slump.
No, again, but I guess the body of work has now been about a year, and so
it's a year on Monday, I believe.
So I don't think it's just he's been in a recent slump. He's been, I wouldn't say slumping since he arrived, but there's been more bad than there has been good.
Yeah, he still did hit 20 home runs after getting acquired by the Giants last year. You saw that power really start to pick up
I know, and we thought it would carry over this year, and there's been good, but then there's been a lot of bad. So that's a lot of money for the product.
So you're just not sold on the streakiness then. That's it.
I'm just not sold on him. Listen, if he wants to play for the next 3 years at $15 million a year, that's fine. But with the contract that he has, I mean, that's a huge ball and chain for a guy who's doing what it is that he's doing.
Yeah, but again, I still think just when the times are good with Rafi, which again, they have faith in him as a hitter from what it sounds like. He's just an ultimate compliment, I think, to Bryce Eldridge. And again, if Bryce, again, ascends to the level that we're seeing him ascend to right now, I think that does lengthen your lineup. I do think there is something to be said about taking the pressure off the guys in a lineup to where you don't have to be the guy who has to save the day every single at-bat. You don't need to be swinging on your heels every at-bat because you're trying to plant one in the stands and get a 5-run home run. There are other guys in this lineup who can help shoulder the load now, and there's a guy in this lineup now who can shoulder perhaps maybe a larger workload. Now, maybe Rafi wants the largest workload. I don't know, but with Bryce as your top hitter, Rafi as your second best hitter.
Is he the second best hitter, or is it Casey Schmidt?
Might be Casey Schmidt, might be Jung-Hoo Lee even right now. But again, it's just, I think when you're creating a situation where you don't need to rely on Rafi Devers as your best hitter, and just as one of your second or third best hitters, then I think you're feeling good about the production that you can get out of him by taking that pressure off him, where he does not have to be the guy in the lineup. Because again, history has shown that he's done good to okay to good when he is that best guy in the lineup. He is a lot better when he's the second or third best guy in that lineup.
Whether it's the second or the best or whatever the hell, just start hitting the baseball, man, with some more consistency so that we don't have to have these conversations. And I thought that we sort of moved past this about 2 weeks ago.
It's going to be back and forth, Dan. Next week I might come in and be like, yeah, I think you got to trade him now. Then I'm going to come in the week after and it's like, actually, you know what? Let's hold on to Rafi a little bit. It's been the feelings of trading Rafi Devers are as streaky as he is at the plate sometimes.
Yeah, I don't think that that's a wise investment then if you get a streaky player if you're telling me that what you get for the next 9 years and that $255 million is what we've seen, he's just a streaky player, Dan, to me it's not worth it. And it's a bad trade. Especially if you can unload him and that money and you get something in value in return and then slide Bryce Eldridge into his natural position. I mean, I would strongly consider it.
Yeah. I think we are. It seems like we haven't brought him up at all. Willie Adames, is that just still untradeable right now? Feels like when's the last time Willie did anything of note, good or bad? I feel like it's been a couple days.
Yeah, it's pretty ugly for Willie.
It just seems kind of forgettable for Willie right now. Again, I can't think of a single thing he's really done this week.
He was good in the Cubs series, that Cub game.
Yeah, the one where they scored 1 billion runs. Yeah, everyone was good in that one. I mean, those are ballparks that he's done a lot of hitting in, and Willie's a guy, I just wonder if there's a part of him that regrets leaving the NL Central, because there's a lot of ballparks in that division. You know, in Milwaukee, what's called American Family Field now, or New Busch Stadium, Wrigley Field, Great American Ballpark, Great American Small Park, as I like to call it. I mean, those are 4 super hitter-friendly ballparks there that, you know, he got to play in every year.
You know why he doesn't regret it?
Because he's got $188 million in the bank.
You.
Yeah, that will do it. 888-957-9570 is the number to call or text. It is the Orange and Black Weekend Wrap. I'm Sam Loman. That's Dan Devone.
Ruderman, call him.
We take any and all Giants takes. I told him, hey, you better wake up and call in tomorrow. And he's like, all right, well, I'll see if I wake up in time. Maybe I'll have Risotto blow up his phone a little bit and wake his ass up.
We need the Ruderman call of the week. He can pick any play from the past week.
We got to make him recreate Bryce Eldridge's
if he wants to do Bryce, he can do Bryce. He can do any play that he feels is the one that he can excel the best at.
Speaking of the Bryce Eldridge Grand Slam, let's jump back to that for a second. I do want to play a little fun clip for you here, Dan. Joe Shasky was very fired up by that walk-off Grand Slam, and he was at the game. But he had to leave early because he had his little guy, LJ. He was 2.5, 3 years old. And you know how kids are. They can only make it so much through a game, especially when it was a hot day like that on Wednesday. So he had to leave early, so we had to watch it at home. And this was how Shasky reacted to Bryce Eldridge's walk-off Grand Slam.
Let's go, Bryce! I just came back from taking my kid to the game. He's asleep upstairs right now. And Bryce just walked it off. Coming-of-age moment for the kid. Let's go! A grand slam with LJ asleep upstairs. A grand slam down 1 million runs. Let's go! You just made the season! That's the future, the present, and everything for the next 15 years for the San Francisco Giants. Bryce Eldridge, let's go!
And now Risotto's going to be happy because he is going to be dropping so many
the future
of those things.
The present, the future, Bryce Eldridge.
It's going to be that for the rest of the show now, Dan. We've opened Pandora's box.
Was that a message he sent to you?
No, that was he posted that video on Instagram.
Oh, wow.
So
that's pretty bold.
People are fired up. Again, Bryce Eldridge, again, him wanting to be the face of the franchise. I want to get into that on the other side here as we pivot off of the failed face and Rafi Devers and get to the new face in Bryce Eldridge. Him saying he wants to be the face of the franchise, Dan.
The future!
I was all for that. Because I think we've all looked at Bryce and being like, yo, if you become the face of the franchise, we're all going to be in a good spot. Now, what did you think when he said that?
I liked it. I think that, listen, how many times have they missed on, quote unquote, the next guy? And I mean, since Buster Posey, right? They finally looked as though they got one.
Exactly. And that's why, like, him wanting to embrace that role. And again, we can get into this on the other side. You know, maybe it's a generational thing. You know, who has a problem with it, who doesn't. I'm all in for it. I want him to want to seize that role here. So we will talk about that on the other side. Again, it is the Orange and Black Weekend Wrap, and we are coming to you live on YouTube. And while you're here on YouTube, make sure you're signing up to become a member of Game Pass Pro on 95.7 The Game's YouTube channel. Get access to private AMAs with the hosts, exclusive content from events, and in-depth insights after the biggest games. Go to YouTube, search 95.7 The Game, and sign up now to become the latest member of Game Pass Pro. Maybe to see more Crazy Joe Shasky rants on Game Pass Pro. You just made the season!
You just made the season! He's asleep upstairs right now!
That's the one that gets me the most. Just he has to say that LJ is asleep upstairs. Oh, Shasky, you are the gift that keeps on giving. Brought to you by Fremont Bank, here for you, here for good.
The future!
Look who has extra pep in their step.
Well, I just finished my to-do list. I went to Lucky and got groceries for the week, and I was even able to pick up everything for those barbecues and pool parties we have planned. You know what's even better?
What?
I get money back on the entire trip.
How are you doing that?
By using Upside.
Upside? What's that?
It's a free app where I earn cash back on groceries, gas, and dining out. And right now, you can earn an extra $10 cash back bonus on your first grocery run at Lucky and Food Max.
So that extra pep comes from all that cash back. Looks like I need to download Upside.
You really do.
Roll into summer with a full grocery cart and extra cash back. Download Upside and use promo code SAVE6 to earn an extra $10 cash back on your first purchase at Lucky and Food Max. That's promo code SAVE6 for an extra $10 cash back. Remember, use promo code SAVE6.
Offers vary by user and location at participating merchants. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions.
DraftKings Sports is live in all 50 states. Yes, that means you, California. The whole world is watching one tournament right now. Group stage chaos, knockout drama, stoppage time heartbreak. The DraftKings Sports app is now live in California. So whether you're catching the early kickoff before work or the late match at the bar, you're in on every minute, every match, every moment, all in one app. Right here in California, the world's biggest stage is in the palm of your hand. New DraftKings customers sign up with the code 957TheGame, spend $5 to get $200 in total rewards. That's code 957TheGame in partnership with DraftKings. The crown is yours. Event trading offered by DraftKings Predictions, a CFTC registered introducing broker. Trading involves risk of loss. Market availability varies. Eligibility restrictions apply. $50 every 7 days via click to claim issued in non-withdrawable predictions dollars that expire in 1 year. Ends June 28. Terms dkng.co/predictions promo.
Looking for work that matters? Alameda County's Community Development Agency has recurring openings for all levels. Enjoy great benefits, have promotional opportunities, and the chance to grow your career while serving your community. Learn more at acjobs.org. That's acjobs.org.
Listen up. Ceremony Ford has one of Ford's biggest offers of the year. From now through July 6th, Ford is running its American Value for American Values employee pricing event. You pay what Ford employees pay on most new 2025 and 2026 Ford vehicles in stock at Serramonte Ford. We're talking Maverick, Bronco, F-150, Mustang Mach-E, Bronco Sport, Explorer, Super Duty, and Ranger. Visit Serramonte Ford right off the 280, Coleman and Daly City, or shop 24/7 at SerramonteFord.com.
Looking to get your next project done right without running all over town? At Ashby Lumber, everything you need is in one place. From premium lumber and building materials to doors, windows, decking, and hardware, we've got it all, ready when you are. Whether you're a contractor on a deadline or a homeowner starting something new, our team knows the products and helps you get it done right the first time. 2 locations, Berkeley and Concord. Ashby Lumber, one stop, done right.
Hi, I'm Richard Estrada with Atco Pest Control. What's bugging you at home? You can grab a spray or set a trap, but real pest control starts with identifying the source of the problem and keeping them out of your home. Atco has been servicing Bay Area homes since 1985. We take the guesswork out of it so you can move on. Go to atcopest.com. Trust Atco for the solution.
Some days, self-care starts with Nature-Made gummy vitamins, a deep breath, and a little encouragement.
Mom, I'm really nervous.
Me too, honey, but we've got this. Repeat after me. I'm gonna have a good day.
I'm going to have a good day.
I choose joy no matter what comes my way.
I bring joy wherever I go.
Quality gummy vitamins from Nature Made, the #1 pharmacist-recommended vitamin and supplement brand, based on a survey of pharmacists who recommend branded vitamins and supplements.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back-end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WebNow1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM in HD1 San Francisco on Odyssey Sports Station. Always live on the free Odyssey app, Twitch, and YouTube. Powered by First NorCal Credit Union.
He's asleep upstairs right now. The future. You just made the season. The present. You just made the season. The future.
Now back to the Orange and Black Weekend Wrap on 95.7 The Game.
Bryce Eldridge.
Gave Pasta a loaded gun.
We really did. No, he is very dangerous with some of these drops. I should have waited to the end of the show. But
I'm pouring wet.
Oh, boy. Anyway, it is the Orange and Black Weekend Wrap. Sam Lillman here alongside Dan Devone. 888-957-9570 is the number to call or text. Giants lose 5-1 to the Cubs last night. A rough night for Landon Roop. He continues to have a rough night. A rough night for a few pitchers. Eric Miller, another guy. God. Oh, my God. Eric Miller is going through it. Like, he is legitimately going through it right now. And you know, after he gave up that home run to Michael Busch last night, I'm looking through his numbers, trying to figure out what in the heck is going on with this guy. And last night, you know, he gets down 1-0, gets to 1-1, then hangs that slider to Busch, just belt high, right in that lower inside part of the strike zone where Miller's kind of struggled a little bit this year with pitches in that part of the zone. And he just absolutely, Michael Busch nuked that into McCovey Cove last night. And it sucks because, again, a lot of relievers have struggled for this team this year, Dan, but there's a couple guys in this bullpen who, Randy Rodriguez, this goes back to last year, Jose Butto, and now Eric Miller. Those are three guys that last year you felt very good about being in your bullpen going into next year. You lost two of those guys to season-ending injuries. Randy's going back to last year, and now Eric Miller, he has just not looked right really at all for a lot of this season. And this is a guy who I think has some of the best stuff on the team in terms of just the pitches he throws and how those pitches come out of his hand. That sinker-slider combo he has, and the slider, I mean, that was the first home run he's given up off the slider this year. I think it's only the second home run he's given up this year. But that sinker-slider, I mean, he's holding hitters under 200 with those pitches, but when guys do get a hold of those pitches, they are doing some serious damage.
Well, it was just bad pitching on the part. And listen, I don't want to break it down and sound as though I know what the hell it is I'm talking about. I'm some sort of a bullpen coach. But just listening to Kruko on the call last night, it's like, if you're going to give major league pitchers or major league hitters a steady diet of breaking balls and getting a big part of the plate, he said that Bush he was sitting on breaking ball. He was just sitting there, sitting on it, waiting for it. And sure enough, boom, got big part of the plate, and he just turned on the thing. And it was just bad pitching as far as, trying to outthink the hitter. So, it sort of gets back to, I think that there's interesting sort of dialogue these days about how pitchers no longer think. Like they're all into spin rate, velo, exit velocity, all of these things, that they've lost the ability to just sort of like outthink the opposing hitter and be smart from a cerebral standpoint. And now there's so much emphasis on velo especially, right? That they've lost the ability to sort of be...
You've lost situational pitching, essentially. Like, I'm just going to throw gas and try and strike guys out, or throw some nasty and try and get guys out that way, make guys look foolish there. And
because that's the fast track to the majors.
I mean, that's just what's preached these days. I mean, you want to see who can throw the hardest. I mean, we're going, people around baseball are going nuts today because Jacob Mizrowski threw 105 yesterday. Did Mizrowski get a Maddox yesterday, Steven?
No Maddox.
Okay, I thought he
Did he square off against Sanchez? Was that Sanchez and Mizrowski? Christopher
Not Sanchez. It was Mizrowski, though.
No, but didn't they go head to head?
They have gone up head to head.
I thought it was yesterday. Yeah. Okay. Did you see what he did to Murphy this past week?
Who, Mizrowski?
Yeah, they were going to pull him. And he said, don't come out here. Like, stay where you are.
Okay, well, since you bring taking pitchers out of the game, let's go back to, what was it, Monday night's game? Logan Webb, was it Monday? Was it Monday, Risotto?
It was
Monday. Logan Webb going 8 innings, giving up, I think it was just the one run. Then the bullpen melts down. What did you think of not going back to Webb there in the ninth?
Just from what I've read and what I've heard, so this is apparently how it went down, is that apparently they went to Webb after the 8th inning and said, that's it. Good job.
Yeah, Risotto, if you want to maybe pull what Webb said, we can play that.
And so they shut him down. They're like, that's it. And then on second thought, according to Tony Vitello, and this is Alex Pavlovich, according to him, that they went back to Logan Webb and said, well, you know what? Do you think maybe you can get back? Do you have anything left? And just basically at the major league level, if you go to a major league pitcher after whether it's 6 innings or 7 innings, or in this case, 8 innings, and saying, good job, that's it. We're taking you out. We're shutting you down. When the mindset for a starting pitcher is, I'm done, you cannot go back to him and say, hey, do you want to go back out there? And so if that is indeed true, I think it lends once again to sort of the way we started the show, that Tony Vitello and the way he's doing things is very different in terms of handling Major League Baseball players, and in this case, a star Major League starter in that of Logan Webb, and asking him, do you want to go back out there after officially shutting him down after 8 innings?
Yeah, it's an interesting way to look at it. Again, I think that might be part of the growing pains that Tony's going to go through as a manager. And I am curious to see just, again, the manager, Tony, I do think Tony's changed a lot as a manager already. I mean, his answers are getting shorter, and I do wonder how much he has grown, or how much he feels he's grown as a manager from day one. Well, let's hear what everyone had to say about that. Here is, let's see. So we usually media talks to Tony first after the games and then talk to Logan. So we're here from Tony first. Here's what Tony said on Monday night. We're going way back on this one. Monday night after the game about whether he considered putting Webb back out there for the 9th inning.
Some of the reasons for not sending Logan out for the 9th, but was there any sort of consideration to sending him out there?
Yeah, it was a conversation for sure. Sitting right at 100 pitches, and obviously he took ownership of that game.
So there was a consideration. Well, what went into the decision to pull Webb and put Keaton Winn in?
Obviously an outstanding outstanding outing by Webby. Made the decision to let him go back out in the 8th. Looked really good. Obviously, you get back to the top of the order one more time through, and where he's been out with pitch count and a little bit of time off, long delay in the inning, decided to go to the guy who's been late in the game for us. And obviously with Keaton, he's got, experience of it going his way and not going his way. So goes out there and then as we navigate through the inning, there's obviously some situations in there you don't want strikes, but we provided strikes. So to me, that was kind of the difference maker.
So that was there again on the decision to put Webb in and go to Keaton Winn. And Keaton Winn, I like Keaton Winn as a reliever. I love that splitter of his. I think it's one of the best pitches that the Giants have in their bullpen. I don't know if Keaton Winn has the stuff to be the closer. I mean, I don't know if anybody on this team has the stuff to be the closer, which is an unfortunate problem with this team that we've seen bite it in the ass all year long to the tune of 8 blown saves. So Logan was asked about it after the game, and here's what he said about the decision to come out after 8 innings.
I walked in and I didn't know how many pitches I was at, and then Ness shook my hand, so I thought I was done. And then Tony kind of asked if you're good, and I said it's up to you, it's your decision. And then he came back to me after. I want to say it was they made after the challenge, we got the first, and he was like, we're going to make a change. And I was like, okay.
99 pitches, though, did you feel like you could go out there for that 9th inning?
Yeah, I feel like I can, I feel like I can throw as many as I want to throw. I felt good. I don't, regret that decision at all. I was excited to watch Keaton throw. We spoke to there. Just unfortunate that the way that inning unfolded.
So my first thought was, I do think Logan is
somebody in the dental chair behind him.
So this was another conversation of a topic of conversation this week. So I'll paint the picture for those who missed it earlier this week when I painted it. When you go into the clubhouse and you come in off to your right, there's Bryce's locker, there's Chapman's locker, and there's Willie's locker. That's along the wall immediately to your right. And then the far wall to your right is where I think Eric Haas's locker is at and Luis Arias's locker is at. And they're kind of those lockers, like they're perpendicular. Those walls are perpendicular to each other. Between those set of lockers is like a equipment room, and in that room afterwards, they're like working on like the guys' spikes or their gloves or their helmets, and they're doing all sorts of little repair stuff and whatnot in there. And it's usually you don't hear the drilling going on during these post games. This is the first time I've heard it during post game, but no, it's very common that they are. Working on some sort of stuff there in that little equipment room there off.
I thought
the
Drew
side.
Gilbert was getting a root canal.
It does sound like that, but let's start off with the Logan Webb aspect. I mean, I think he's just trying not to throw Tony on the bus or anything like that. He's being professional there.
I agree.
The whole notion of whether he should have wanted the ball or not, because it's the topic of conversation. I know Guru was hot on this. He was like, you should be taking the ball, Logan. You should want to take the ball in that situation. He had 99 pitches, Logan Webb, at the time. And I'll say, and he had when he was doing his post-game presser, he had the big ice pack on his arm, which he doesn't usually have post-game. Now, a lot of pitchers ice their arms after games. But he doesn't usually have the ice pack on when he's doing the post-game media scrum. So that I thought was kind of interesting. I will say this, though, about Logan Webb and whether or not he should have taken the ball. There is not a doubt in my mind that there is nobody in that clubhouse, player, coach, manager, who wants to see this team win more than Logan Webb. Like, I've talked to Logan a lot. I'm not saying I'm best friends with Logan, but I've talked to Logan a lot. I've looked into his eyes. I've gotten to kind of know what he's like as a person, as a baseball player. Is something like brownish, something like that. And in getting to know him, though, he truly wants this organization to win more than anybody else. And if he's, thinking, I'm done, because sometimes it's just your arm's done. I take him at his word. If he thinks he could have gone back out there, but he was comfortable letting someone else take the ball and go out and finish this game, I'm willing to give Logan the benefit of the doubt and be like, all right, then that was the best move there. Because if Logan felt that this was the move, if Logan felt like he didn't have more to go out there, or maybe he did, but it was, better off leaving it into the coach's decisions. I mean, and he did mention that Justin messaged up and shook his hand, like, good job, good start tonight, which, to the point you made, Dan, that is, usually a sign that a pitcher's done for the night. And put in the coaching staff's hands, I'll take Logan's word for it. I will follow in behind Logan Webb that those were the right series of moves to make, because I know that if Logan really did want to be out there, he'd go back out there. If Logan really felt that he was the best option to be on that mound in that 9th inning, he would have made the case that he should be the best, he should be out there. It stinks that night went the way that it did.
Wait, so let me just understand. Okay, let me just be clear on this. You think that Logan Webb made the decision not to go back out to the 9th?
No, I think the coaching staff did. And I think if Logan's fine with the coaching staff making that decision, I'm fine with the coaching staff making that decision. Okay. Because, again, like, if he felt like he can go out there and get the job done, I think he would have done it.
I mean, you say you know Logan Webb. Have you ever seen him in a situation like that not want to go back out and finish business? It's sort of in his DNA. Even if that arm is dragging, Logan Webb wants to go out and finish. I mean, know him intimately better than I. Just when I've seen the guy, like, unless that thing is out of its socket or he tore his rotator cuff, Logan Webb not finishing his meal that night is absolutely unheard of. So to me, this was, again, getting back to our guy, Tony Vitello, and to what it is that you just said. The pitching coach went up to him and said, "You're done," shut him down, and then made a decision later like, hey, maybe we should have you go back out there, which you can't do, because once I turn off the engine or mentally you take me out of the game, I can't then charge it back up and get ready to go pitch. This was another boner on the part of Mr. Tony Vitello.
I see. So it's kind of like a miscommunication on the coaching staff there.
I think he screwed up again. To your point, the learning curve, however it is that you want to phrase it, there's no way in hell Logan Webb is going to management and going to the manager and saying, I can't finish this game. I don't even think that's
But at the same time, if he's saying, like, hey, it's up to you, like, that's him.
That doesn't even say Logan Webb is not that guy.
The arm just doesn't have anything left in the tank. Like, sometimes you got to protect your players from themselves. Sometimes players have the wherewithal to know, like, hey, you know what? Like, it's time for someone else to go out there. Like, I gave you my 8 innings of great pitching, gave up the 1 run. Let's bring it home now. It's on to the bullpen now to bring it home. Now,
do you really think Logan Webb is capable of doing that, knowing the competitor that he is?
He's a team guy.
Okay.
I think he knows what's up. Again, he has earned that leeway with me.
Sure.
To where, even if he doesn't, honestly, I'll even allow Dan just to play devil's advocate against myself. Maybe there's a part of him that's thinking, maybe I should have gone back out there. Maybe I shouldn't have put that faith in my bullpen. And maybe in hindsight, he had some regrets about coming out early. I'll allow for that. But what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to question Logan Webb's desire to go out there and try and win baseball games.
No.
Like, that's not what I'm going to do at all.
The complete opposite. I think he wanted to go out. They came up to him and said, you're done. And then they realized that Logan Webb felt as though he could have finished the 9th, and they had it. What they did is that
that's fair, yeah.
They had second thoughts, and then they went back to him and said, okay, maybe you should go back out there. And again, once you shut down a pitcher after 8 innings as a starter and saying you're done, he takes off his glove. He resets the mind. Like, I'm out of the game. You can't go back to him and say,
agree on that
you're
one.
going back out there. So again, this begins and ends with Tony Vitello's inexperience, which is sort of where we started the entire show. I think you remove Logan Webb from the entire equation. Logan Webb is one way.
Okay, I'll side with you on that one, yeah.
Logan Webb is I pitch, and if I've come this far, I'm going out for the 9th. I do not care about the status of my arm, and I'm this close. We know who Logan Webb is. The only reason he didn't come out to the 9th is because the Giants took the ball out of his hands and then had second thoughts. Again, something you can't do to a starting pitcher.
Yeah, but I guess I reject the notion that Logan shied away from that moment, or Logan didn't want to go.
I'm with you there.
There is no one whose competitive fire I am doubting in that clubhouse less than Logan Webb. So this notion that he didn't want the ball or anything like that, and he clapped back on our Instagram, actually. We posted that video of Goo going off, and he kind of clapped back, like, who are these guys? Which, I don't know if I would do that, but, hey, it's all good. Yeah, but again, I told Goo afterwards, like, Goo came up, he was like, man, why isn't Logan getting the ball there? And I said to Goo exactly what I said to you, Dan. No one in that clubhouse wants to win more than him. So if he's coming out And unless he is saying in that scrum, yeah, that was a dumb decision by Tony and I should have been out there, I'm going to fall in behind Logan. Like, you know what, Logan? You said that you were done. You said it was time for Keaton to pitch. All right, you were done. It was time for Keaton Wynn to pitch. It was time for Keaton to go out there and execute. I have no qualms with Logan Webb at all on Monday night. Now, should the coaching staff have gone up to Logan? Because, again, he was at 99 pitches. He can go above 100 and said, hey, we're going to send you back out for the ninth, and the minute you get in trouble, you're done. Maybe in hindsight, if
Landon Roop went 105 last night.
So for Saturday morning quarterbacking a game that happened on Monday night, I'll agree with that may have been the best decision. But I think to your point, though, Dan, that is a highlight of the growing pains that we are going to be seeing from Tony Vitello and this coaching staff.
That's why we can talk about it on a Saturday, even though it happened on Monday, because I think the big picture and the bigger takeaway is Tony Vitello and what it is that you attribute it to in growing pains. And I would say this to anybody that's not necessarily giving him a pass, but when you talk about Tony Vitello in his rookie year as a manager at the major league level, is it okay for managers to learn on the job at the major league level, especially with that of the San Francisco Giants? We could attribute it to it's a learning curve. It's just the process until he understands how to do this, and maybe it'll happen later in the season. And all of this is just intel so that he'll be a better manager. Don't we typically want a guy hitting the ground running? We're talking about Major League Baseball. We're talking about a team that during the offseason spent a lot of money and apparently was supposed to be a team that was vying for a wild card or a playoff spot. Do we really want somebody to come in here with training wheels for the first whatever quarter of the season, half the season?
Well, then why would you hire a college manager then? If that's what you want to avoid. Again, this is why I said at the start of the year, somewhere on Garlic Fries and Baseball, guys, I probably said this, playoffs are a big ask for this team. The goal is for Tony to be comfortable managing this team at the end of the year. That has always been what I've said. Now, if those are unacceptable goals, I'll listen to that argument. That's where this organization's at right now. That's where the Giants are at right now. I don't like it. I'd love for this team to be good. It's been 10 years of banging my head against the wall, wanting this team to be good, and they're not yet. But they're taking a path that's, might be a little bit more frustrating than the conventional path. If you wanted a manager that wasn't going to go through growing pains, you would have went out and hired a manager that has been around the big leagues before. You would have gone out and hired someone who's been a coach on a big league staff or a manager already on a big league staff. Like, how else is Tony supposed to acclimate to this level of baseball? There is no minor leagues, I guess, for managers. It's not like you can sign Tony, but we're going to have him manage in AAA Sacramento for a year and then call him up, and then next year he's going to be a manager. That's just not how that works.
But is that a viable option, I guess is my question.
I guess we're seeing that right now.
I agree with you.
Well, it's much like Bryce Eldridge. Do we care at all that Bryce Eldridge was in and out of the lineup at all those first couple weeks because he's hitting right now? No, we don't. If this team finishes strong in September, or if this team is really good next year, are we really going to be wringing our hands about the growing pains of Tony Vitello if they do pay off and this team has success later on?
So your outlook on this season going into this campaign is sort of a throwaway year. They're not going anywhere. So just get a manager in there, let him learn at the expense of this team losing, and then going forward in 2027 or 2028 or whenever the future arrives.
Isn't that kind of, we do that with players when teams are rebuilding. Isn't that kind of what we're doing? There's always development going on at the big league level.
Oh, I'm with you there, but I did not interpret this team as a rebuild. Not this year. Not when you're spending that much money with Chapman.
I agree with that.
Devers.
I think I wonder maybe going back in hindsight if we should have seen this coming. Because again, you go into there's a very flawed pitching rotation. I think this is something that Risotto and I talked about on the podcast. Garlic Fries and Baseball, guys, before the season. Did we, Risotto? I don't remember anything we talked about.
We definitely did.
Okay, he said this could be the worst bullpen in franchise history, and I was like, whoa, I think that's a little bit of a jump. He's looking more right than I am. I refuse to believe this bullpen is as bad as it is, and that's just me being in denial as a fan. But if I take the Giants cap off and put the, unbiased baseball observer cap on, Risotto's absolutely right. This is looking like one of the worst, if not the worst bullpen in franchise history, which is why it was hard for me to take this team seriously as a legitimate playoff contender. Coming into the season, as much as I love Logan Webb, as high as I was on Landon Roop, and as much as I like Robbie Ray, this was not a truly playoff caliber pitching rotation. This was not a playoff caliber bullpen. This is a lineup that had flaws in it. To say that this was a win now team, maybe that was part of the intention, But the reality of the roster said, no, this is a team that's still trying to work things out. I don't think this is the year. Maybe they haven't arrived early year, maybe. But you're still trying to set yourself up for 27, 28 because, like it or not, Dan, they're still in a very messy, sloppy rebuild right now.
Let me ask you this. Let me rephrase it. Do you think Buster Posey going into the season thought it was a rebuild or at least 1 or 2 years away?
I think last year going into the season, he thought this was a win-now team. That's why he signed Willie Adames. That's why he made the trade for Rafi Devers. Mm-hmm. I think at some point last year, he realized that he bit into a little bit of a worse apple than he anticipated. That's why he made the moves to trade away Tyler Rogers and Camilo Doval. Like, I think part of the reason why he signed Malley and Hauser was those are kind of placeholder pitchers for when some of their younger pitchers like Whisenhunt, Blade Tidwell, Trevor McDonald, who we're seeing right now, Carson Seymour, who was up and then got sent back down. At some point, these younger AAA starters need to matriculate up to the big leagues and start performing there. I saw Hauser and Malley as kind of like placeholder type guys who they're just going to eat up innings until these younger guys are ready to go. Like those two guys aren't here for the long haul.
Well, it's sort of a contradiction in terms then, because if you're signing Jung-Hoo Lee and you're spending that much money,
that was a
Devers,
Farhan move.
I get it, but if Jung-Hoo Lee is still on the payroll and you still have Devers at first base and you still have Adames and Chapman and all these guys in the contract, but yet you're still in a rebuild is really sort of an imbalance.
Well, that's why I said floppy rebuild.
It doesn't make a lot of sense. So I think, I could be wrong, but I think that he thought, as did a lot of us, that this is a team that was equipped. Granted, there were some chinks in the armor. I think that this is a team that was equipped to make a run at a wild card. Maybe not the division. You're not going to supplant the Los Angeles Dodgers.
No.
So again, it doesn't make a lot of sense if this is a plug and play and we're a team that's at least going to be relevant or a team that's going to be good or on the other side of 500 to then bring in a rookie manager who's only done it at the not even at the minor league level, but the collegiate level. And to your point, allow him to go through these growing pains at the expense of the team losing games. And so to me, that just never made a lot of sense, that if this is a team that's ready to win right now, then why bring in somebody that needs to learn on the job?
I don't know if this was actually a team that was ready to win now.
I know. Well,
I think this was, you got guys like Adames, Devers, and Chapman, Dan, to be honest. I think those are guys that, I think Devers maybe less so than Adames and Chapman, but Adames and Chapman, those are guys who were brought in to kind of be veteran leaders as they do rebuild. I think Buster maybe thought this team was further along than they were when he made the Rafi Devers trade.
No, you said that. I get it.
Yeah, and I think he realized afterwards that might have been the wrong move. And now what has been a sloppy rebuilding process for the last 5 years, because the Giants don't want to do a real rebuild. They had to do their little 2 timelines thing where they try to win and rebuild. What Adames, Chapman, and Devers have become are just shiny objects to look at while this team does go through a rebuild by bringing in fresh players and, in this case, a fresh manager. Let's keep this conversation going on the other side. 888-957-9570 is the number to call or text. Giants fans, we take any and all Giants takes. What do you make of just where this team is at right now? We'll get into it on the other side. Brought to you by Fairmont Bank, here for you, here for good.
With increasing summer temperatures, this is a good time to replace your home siding, decking, and fencing. Golden State Lumber and Showroom works closely with contractors to keep your home protected. AZEK Exteriors offers outstanding durability, is easy to install, and protects against fire and dry rot. And TimberTech Advanced PVC Decking has a Class A fire rating and is backed by industry-leading warranties. Visit GoldenStateLumber.com for products that increase the value of your home. Golden State. When you succeed, we succeed.
Are you curious about who offers the best deals on top-rated Samsung, LG, and Sony TVs? The answer is surprising. It's not online, and it's not the warehouse clubs. The best deals on top-rated TVs are at Video Only. Don't believe it? Then check out the trade-in deals at Video Only. How about $500 for your old TV? Try doing that online. Before you buy that new TV, drop into Video Only. If you don't, you'll be sorry.
What if you could have the most reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi? And get this, what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years? During the Xfinity Summer Savings Event, now through June 15th, new customers can get our best price on gig Wi-Fi, just $50 a month for 5 years. And get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi. It's Wi-Fi that finds and fixes problems before you even notice them, like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a sixth sense. Plus, add 1 line of Xfinity Mobile Select and you can save an average of $60 a month over Verizon and AT&T. You can even try it free for a year. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities during the Xfinity Summer Savings Event. Get it now at Xfinity.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Savings based on 1 gig internet and 1 mobile select line compared to similar Verizon and AT&T plans over 5 years. After 12 months, regular rates apply to mobile select. Xfinity internet required. Speeds vary. Use of fiber coaxial cable.
Hey, it's Dibs. The finals are underway, and it's all going on. And now you can trade every game on Kalshi. New York is currently trading at 78% to win it all, meaning a $100 trade pays out over $126 if they hold on and take the title. On Kalshi, you're trading against other people in a live market. No house, no odds makers, and as the odds move, you can buy in or out anytime. And for a limited time, download the Kalshi app and use code DIBS to get $10 when you trade $10. Kalshi. Kalshi. Trade on anything, and these trades right now are fun to do, and the action is live. 18 and over only. Restrictions and eligibility requirements apply. Event contract trading involves risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Prices, values, and available markets may differ from those mentioned. For more information, see kalshi.com/regulatory.
Reach your saving goals with Miristar Momentum Savings. Progress should come with perks. Every $25 you save earns an entry to win cash prizes. We're drawing winners for $1,000 monthly, $5,000 quarterly, and an annual grand prize of $10,000. Saving has never been this rewarding. Apply today at miristarfcu.org. Insured by NCUA, no purchase necessary. Terms and conditions apply. See website for full details.
This is Vanessa Deniston, senior attorney at the Dolan Law Firm.
The Dolan Law Firm handles a diverse line of cases from personal injury to employment law.
We're proud to say the Dolan Law Firm is just as diverse in our attorneys and staff. The Dolan Law Firm consistently achieves outstanding results with over $1 billion in verdicts and settlements.
The Dolan Law Firm, the best, most diverse personal injury and employment law firm we hope you'll never need.
Contact us at dolanlawfirm.com.
Every detail matters when designing a space that feels intentional. With rich tones, natural texture, and timeless character, Humboldt Sawmill Redwood products help bring thoughtful outdoor spaces to life. Redwood is non-toxic and stays cool to the touch even on the hottest days. A real wood alternative native to California that is naturally termite and decay resistant and beautiful too. Visit Ashby Lumber online or in store to explore our selection of Humboldt Sawmill Redwood products for your next project.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This summer, the Honey Pepper Pimento Chicken Sandwich and Pineapple Dragon Fruit and Sprite are back at Chick-fil-A.
Girl, it's back. We've been waiting. I love that honey pepper pimento sandwich.
And that pineapple dragon fruit and Sprite is everything. It's got that razzle-dazzle that makes you stop and say, okay, wait a minute.
I love the creaminess of the pimento cheese. It's savory. It's bold. It's flavorful.
Our faves are back. I saw, girl.
Which fan favorite will you choose? Real customers paid for their testimonials.
Now back to the best Giants talk in the Bay. The Orange and Black Weekend Wrap on 95.7 The Game.
Said a listener sent you this bed? It's like this is like a original sampling here?
Original sampling from Bennett Roth, who's usually in the YouTube chat. I don't know if he's in there today.
Oh, shout out Bennett Roth.
He's a musician and creates music, and this is one of them.
Hey, I got something for you to play, Pasta. You got to look up a character by the name of Oswald Bates. It's from a show that predates you gentlemen called In Living Color. And it was this character, one of the Wayans brothers. No, not that one. That's the Warriors. This isn't Warriors this week. So Oswald Bates would just go on these rants where he would just misuse words. And he would just say things like, what?
That sounds like the Morning Roast.
No, it sounds like Tony Vitello. Like sometimes Vitello gets in these rants like, wait, what? He said something
Yeah,
today.
he had one of those last night.
There was something that you played. I'm like, what? That doesn't.
All right, let's just say this.
No, you got to get some Oswald baits. Will you please find some Just any Oswald bait rant for like 10 seconds.
The ultimate grunt master out there.
But he just like sometimes Vitello, you would know this. Like he goes in these just like these dissertations. Like that doesn't really sort of make a lot of sense.
There is one. God, I need to get better at remembering these things. But there was one long diatribe he had where like I forget what it was, but he compared it to like the hat game where like you put an object, like you have the 3 hats and one of the things has a hat underneath it. And I'm listening to him. I gotta try and go back and remember this. I have the quote somewhere. Maybe at the next break I can do some fishing here. But he's talking about he's compared to the hat game, and then he tied it all together pretty well actually at the end. I'll have to go back and try and find it. But I'm listening to him talk about this. He's bringing up the hat game. I'm like, what the heck are you doing here? And then he brought it home. He tied it all together. I'm like, oh. All right, yeah, I see what you're getting at there.
But there was something you played. Can you play the bite from earlier? I think he was talking about Logan Webb.
You want the Logan Webb one or the Bryce Eldridge one?
I think it was Logan Webb.
All right, so this is his decision to pull Webb and put Wynn in.
Tell me if this makes sense.
You know, obviously an outstanding outing by Webby. Made the decision to let him go back out in the 8th. Looked really good. Obviously, you get back to the top of the order one more time through, and where he's been at with pitch count and a little bit of time off, long delay in the inning, decided to go to the guy who's been late in the game for us. And obviously with Keaton, he's got, experience of it going his way and not going his way. So goes out there and then as we navigate through the inning, there's obviously some situations in there you don't want strikes, but we provided strikes. So to me, that was kind of the difference maker.
What is that? Well, you don't
He's had success.
Internalize
what?
the flatulation of the matter by transmitting the effervescence of the Indonesian proximity in order to further segregate the crux of my venereal infection.
That's Oswald Bates.
I hear what you're saying. Yeah, no, there are times where you're just like, what are you saying? But this has always been Tony's thing, though. Even going back to Tennessee, like one of the first scouting reports we got on this guy is he says things and he talks a lot. And, he had a lot of long diatribes that he would go on in spring training. And
the best one was when we were there. And then what was it where you said, oh, hell yeah.
Oh, yeah, when he talked about, we got to, like Shawshank, we got to crawl through miles of poo to get to the sunshine on the other side.
Oh, God.
And I was just like, hell yeah. And he looked at me kind of weird for a second. But again, what game was that, Risotto? That was the weekend series before the White Sox, I think. Who were we playing that weekend?
I got to find the date on that. That was an all-time. That was, to me, when I first realized that I didn't know where he was going with that one. And then once he finished, I was like, that was really good.
No, again, sometimes when he does land the plane on these things, let me see if I can pull up the Giants schedule and find out when that day. Well, I guess it doesn't really matter.
Sometimes he just doesn't make sense. Like his syntax is off or something. It's just like what he's saying is mushmouth.
I mean, it's probably those things. If you go back and actually listen to a little bit more, maybe there's something. I think it was the Pirates game, that 5-2 win over the Pirates on K-pop night. I think that was the crawling through the poo line. I know that I found that was funny too. Everyone was laughing after that one there. Anyway, so yeah, that's
May 8th.
May 8th. All right. Again, that's the. Do we have the cut?
Somewhere. Hang on.
All right.
That's all right.
I guess we don't need to play
You're
it there.
okay, Basta.
But again, the conversation that we were having on the previous segment that we're getting into here, just
So you're a Vitello guy.
I'm in on Tony right now.
Right.
I'm willing to give him the runway to make this work out. And maybe that's just 888-957-9570 is just, can you really say the Giants are serious about trying to win now when you have a rookiest of rookie managers here? Are you okay with your manager essentially learning on the job at the big league level? And my answer, and I don't think this is a fun answer, Dan, I'm going to be real. I'm an honest Giants fan. I'm a biased Giants fan. I'm a homer of a Giants fan, but I'm also an honest Giants fan. This is just the reality of the Giants situation. Like, this is life for the Giants. You have a rookiest of rookie managers who doesn't have big league experience, who is, in fact, learning on the job. You could sit here and say that you don't like that as a Giants fan. You could sit here and say that they should have done something different. They didn't. Now, if that means you're out on Tony Vitello, yeah, you're allowed to be out on your manager. Believe this or not. There are people who were once out on Bruce Bochy at one point. It does happen. In fact, I'll be honest, I was not really a big fan of Bruce Bochy the first couple of years he was the manager of this team. I know, it's crazy to think, but there were a lot of Giants fans, and I don't know if I should admit this, but I'm going to admit this. There were a lot. I was on those internet message boards back in the day, in the mid-2000s. That's what it was all about back then. Before there was Reddit, there was internet message boards. And I was on the MLB.com one for the Giants. That's actually where I met our friend Ruderman. He was also on that board. We were these two 13-year-old kids in this message board room full of these grumpy 40-somethings who just had some not very progressive views. Let's go with that. And it's honestly, looking back on it, my dad definitely gets a point docked from his parenting for letting me be on those message boards. That's neither here nor there. I hope you're shooting well on the course right now, Dad. But there were a lot of fans on those old message boards who hated Bruce Bochy because he was playing all these older guys and none of these younger guys that we wanted to see, like Nate Scherholtz or Dan Ortmeyer or Ryan Rollinger or all these other young players that were never going to amount to anything. Eugenio Velez. They called him Melonhead. That was his name. He was Melonhead to a lot of these fans because we wanted to see this team rebuild, and he was playing veterans that were not going to be a part of the future. And then one day, he goes and he makes Don Mattingly look like an absolute buffoon in a Giants-Dodgers game by catching Mattingly accidentally doing a second mound visit, and the Dodgers bullpen has a meltdown. From that day forward, it was impossible to hate Bruce Bochy. Now, people were already warming up to Bruce at that point. That night in 2010, that warm August night or July night, whenever it was, that was when the last Bruce Bochy doubter vanished forever. At some point, my guess, my hope, if you're a Giants fan, you're banking on this. I'm going to bank on it, and I'm going to manifest it to happen and believe that it will happen. Tony will reach that point, too, where the good moves will outweigh the bad moves. The good decisions will outweigh the bad decisions. He's going to learn more about this job, get more comfortable doing this job. The managing is going to get better. The communication is going to get better. You're going to see people start to buy in. And then one of these days, he's going to do something. He's going to make the Dodgers look stupid, and that'll be the day. Now, you have to get to that point. I'm not saying it's not set in stone. So let it be written, so let it be done. It's not one of those things. He's still got to get there. But that's the reality where the Giants are at right now, where they need their manager simply to just get better on the job. Is it ideal? No. But it is, unfortunately, or fortunately, however you want to look at it as a Giants fan, the reality of where this team is at right now. If you don't like it, then, you're making the argument they should have made a lot of different moves, which, yeah, that's fair too.
It is what it is. I give you that. I think that it's and this gets back to Buster Posey. Is it the right move for him to learn on the job? Are we giving him a pass as well?
Well, then now you're looking at ownership, because ownership's the one decided, hey, let's go to Buster Posey.
But he is ownership.
Well, that's part of it as well. And Dan, that's the bigger picture move that if you want to side-eye something, that's the bigger picture move that I would side-eye. You could bring, there is, I think, a permutation of events that exists if you go back in time and hire a more experienced president of baseball ops, or you know what? Maybe they hire Zach Manassian to be their president of baseball ops. Take the Brewers number 2, make him your number 1. And we've debated in the past as to whether or not
he doesn't do anything for me.
I know, but I'm just using this as an example. Because remember, it was Manassian's idea initially to go after Tony. So Manassian's been a baseball executive for a while. He absolutely would have had the qualifications to take a president of baseball operations job. If he had went out and hired Tony Vitello, which is very possible since it was his idea, are we looking at this a little bit differently with someone with experience making this move versus someone with no experience making this move? How much does that kind of shape how we view this situation?
I think you look at it drastically different.
Exactly. So
it's a calculated risk at that point.
Yes.
As opposed to Buster Posey, who is doing something that has never been done before because he doesn't know any better.
By a guy who's never done it before.
Because he doesn't know any better.
But again, I think you can make the argument that, again, in a situation like Manassian, who has maybe not run a team before, but he's been a part of running a team, and that's usually how these things work out. The GM of one team becomes the president of baseball ops of another team. If he had made that same move, though, I don't think we're looking at it as a inexperienced executive hiring an inexperienced manager. It's a guy who's, rising up to this level, who's been around, who's trying to do something different. So, and again, if it's still playing out the same way, it's maybe there's more anger directed at Manazian. I don't know. That's not the reality we got.
I think the way you look at this as to whether or not he's a successful manager is the way I assess all managers, basically. And listen, they can do, and I think, Pasta, you and I may have talked about this. Baseball managers, for the most part, make the same sort of decisions, right? Like, we can nitpick, like,
Risotto's been very big on this.
Yeah, right? I think that the bottom line as to whether or not you're a successful manager, and I heard A.J. Brzezinski talking about this, do you communicate? Do you communicate with your entire team?
Hell of a name to cite.
Are
there.
you somebody, well, he's actually not bad. I don't know if you've ever seen his podcast.
I've never, ever been a fan of A.J. Brzezinski. One of my favorite moments of Chicago sports is Michael Barrett punching him in the chin.
Anyways, so do you communicate? Are you able to communicate with your team? Do you have the respect of your team? Do we come to the park wanting to play for you? Do you communicate on a personal level where I know where I stand with you as a player? And of course, my relationship is going to be entirely different with, as opposed to, someone in the bullpen, I'm your starting first baseman. Are all of those characteristics in place? That's, to me, the barometer by which you should be measured as to whether or not you're a successful manager and you move the needle. All the other stuff is sort of minutia, and at the end of the day really doesn't mean a lot. It's the bottom line is, are you able to communicate? And that's the big question I have for this guy. Can a guy coming up from the minor league level, we've seen already where he's had, whether it's an issue or whether or not he had the onions or whether he had the prowess to go up to Matt Chapman and say, no, you're sitting. I'm sorry. Like, you need a day off. You need a couple of days off, as he's done from Willie Adames. Or is it Matt Chapman that's dictating what's happening in that locker room? It's these sort of things that I think at the end of the day that'll decide whether or not he's a successful manager or not. You want to get in on that, Pasta?
I agree with that. I also think that he came into this situation, I think you guys mentioned it in the last segment, not thinking he would have to do a whole lot. And I came into Tony Vitello's hiring thinking that he wouldn't have to do a whole lot. He could just plug and play. I mean, the infield is set up for him. The outfield, for the most part, is set up for him, and the only impact that he would have on the game is essentially the bullpen. And the Giants kind of screwed him over by not having a bullpen set up for not only a first-year manager, but for a first-year manager in professional baseball, where college is a completely different staff. But I agree. I think, like I've been saying, and I've said it on the podcast, and you guys referenced it, 75% of the decisions that MLB managers make, I feel like they would all make the same decision at that time. So it's a niche thing, and it's all about how you could get your team behind you and the camaraderie portion of it and the management portion of it, opposed to kind of what's going on the field.
Well, let me ask you something, and when it comes to the struggles of this team, is this team been struggling this year because of poor communication between, manager and players, or have they been struggling because players just haven't been performing? I mean, I think Risotto makes a great point. He was not expected to do a whole lot with this lineup. Now, this lineup's hitting really well right now. Mm-hmm. We're seeing how good this lineup is. We remember how bad this lineup was in April. Chapman wasn't hitting. Adames wasn't hitting. Devers wasn't hitting.
Or was it the manager?
This is the age-old debate, and I think it's a debate we've been having a lot this year. And we're talking about, Tony learning on the job here. How's he supposed to, what's he supposed to do when a lineup that's supposed to produce one way is producing on the opposite end of the spectrum and doing a whole lot of nothing? How's he supposed to truly learn how to manage a bullpen when he's given a bullpen that doesn't have a closer? He's given a bullpen that might not even have a legitimate setup guy. So, he's given so little to truly, work with, in a sense. He's not really set up with everything he needs, to have the success that he's trying to have this year. And then in that situation, you're looking at Buster Posey at that situation. Why did you set up Tony with an incomplete roster? Or, as I said a little while ago, a flawed rotation and a flawed lineup.
Even if he was set up, and I would agree with you to a certain point, it doesn't mean that he's necessarily the right guy going forward. I can't be because you were set up and you inherited a bad situation that you're still a good manager for this team.
Well, I guess how many other managers, like if Bruce Bochy's managing this team, or is this team 42-28 instead?
I mean, I don't know. Probably no. But I don't know when it comes to communication. I don't know if that's something that we can necessarily gauge.
Yeah.
That's one of those sort of intangibles. I'm not in that locker room. I don't know the relationship between him and Chapman, him and any of the veteran players, and him and the rookies or younger players. So the communication, I think we'll find out.
I think I think we saw a little bit on Monday night. I mean, I don't know if Tony wanted to take Logan out or not, but Message went up and shook Logan's hand. Maybe Message shouldn't have done that. Maybe that was a miscommunication there.
Well, yeah.
So that's a demerit there on that point. But the fact that Logan isn't going out and being like, yeah, I could have gone out there. I wanted to go back out there, but they said no. He said no, it was the coaching staff's decision. The fact that Logan's word choice was one that defended his manager and shielded him from heat, because Logan easily could have said, yeah, I really should have been out there. I don't know why Tony did that. And if you have Logan on one side of the room and Tony on the other, and you bring 100 Giants fans in and say, okay, Giants fans, go pick a side, they're all going to Logan's side. So, and Logan knows that. Logan knows that he is the face right now of this organization. He could, if he wanted to, throw Tony on the bus, and fans would probably side with Logan there.
Oh, he would never do that.
But he would not do that. And I do think that that is A, part of who Logan is. But B, I'll attribute that to the fact that Logan is buying in on Tony, the fact that he's not going to throw Tony under the bus in that situation.
Well, I don't think he would have thrown anybody under the bus, regardless whether it was Tony Vitello or somebody who was even an ineffective manager.
I guess we don't know that.
But there's another way to look at that, Sam. Let's just say that Logan Webb was upset that he was pulled from that game because he felt as though he can go out for the ninth, or he wasn't upset, but the mere fact that they shut him down and then they came back to him, as was reported by Alex Pavlovich, that, hey, do you still have something left and can you go back out there? And he's like, what are you doing? Like, you just told me I'm out of the game. Once my mind and once I shut the engine off, there's no starting it again. You can't do that. That's not the way you handle major league starting pitchers.
And that's what I think, that's communication demerit there on Tony.
Let's just say the other scenario potentially is he goes back, and I don't know who he's best friends with on the team, or some other players, they go out to dinner, what have you, and this is what happens, why it's so sensitive to cultivate the right culture, right, in a clubhouse. And he's just like, can you believe what this bozo did? You know what he said to me tonight? And the other players begin to chime in, like, you know what he did to me one day? Now you're creating sort of that cancer in a locker room. Like, so there's that potential that if you continue to mishandle things and you're you're over your skis because you shouldn't be at the major league level, and now the locker room and or the clubhouse begins to chirp, you're now creating, because I'm a firm believer that if you don't get the clubhouse right, you're not going to win. Because if a team is together, it'll translate to the field when players are truly playing for one another and they get along. And they like the management. They just love the franchise, and they are all proverbially, I hate the line, but tugging on the same rope. And so if you're somebody that's inexperienced and things become a little bit disruptive because you don't know what you're doing and players begin to talk behind your back, it gets into that area of, yeah, this is now an unhealthy place to be. And as a result, your team doesn't play well. I'll give you the complete other end of the spectrum. Look at the Chicago White Sox. The White Sox are a first-place team after losing 120 games. Their lineup is okay, but those dudes are all bought in. Like, every single one of those guys comes to the park and they feel as though they're going to win. Like, that is some mojo, and all that crap does look at the Giants in 2010, right? Like, that does mean something when you guys are all together as a unit. And so these are sort of the intangibles when it comes to Tony Vitello that I really think will determine whether or not this guy's a good manager going forward.
And that's where I think part of the task is this year. Again, that's why I say a big goal this year is he needs to feel comfortable managing this team. The fact that he's saying that he's bought in, he doesn't want to go anywhere, he intends to manage out his contract, I think that's a good first step. The fact that he's kind of not in this whole like, oh crap, did I make the wrong move here? He's trying to lean into this challenge here. The next level of this challenge is being more consistent in your communication day to day. You can't have a situation where your pitching coach is going up and saying one thing and you're saying another. That's a thing that you kind of need to nip in the bud and, take care of going forward. You accomplish that. All right. Now you're a little bit better. It is one of those things. This is where, again, it's the growing on the job, learning how to do this. At some point, it's going to be, you're going to have to win your players over throughout the year. Maybe there is some like, oh man, did you see what he did there? I don't know. I'm not going to say that there is that kind of stuff going on, but much like with Bruce Bochy, there does come a moment where the tide starts to shift. You start to see the vision. You start to see where this thing is going forward. And you're like, oh, you know what? Maybe this guy does have a point. Maybe there is a method to his madness, as we see Bryce Eldridge yo-yoed in and out of the lineup, and now all of a sudden he's looking like the anchor of this lineup right now. We thought Tony we called him a madman, and now we're looking, I was like, you know what? Maybe it did work out that you did things like that you did with Bryce. Again, we argued whether or not that was the case or not earlier on in the show. You know, was there a method to the madness, or the Giants just get lucky? It's hard to truly know. I think there was a method to the madness. Steps like that, though, those are what I'm looking for in terms of whether or not I'm seeing Tony get better as a manager. And, Dan, this is also why I think my other kind of way I look at this is I think Tony would have been better off managing a team full of younger guys who were kind of like a team that was like fresh in a rebuild, because those are like a group of young guys that he can kind of like mold in his image, so to speak. I do think it is an extra challenge for him to manage a clubhouse with three veterans in Chapman, Adames, and Devers who are so established and entrenched in who they are in this league, having to, you know, take orders essentially from a guy who's never been in this league. That is a very interesting dynamic that he's going to have to navigate all year long. I don't know where he's at in that dynamic. I do think that those three guys are behind Tony. I don't know how much, though. I don't know how much it is to a detriment, but it is something that's going to have, you know, he's going to have to be constantly fostering, at least throughout this year.
I mean, he might have that inflection point where the light goes on, like it did for Bochy, according to you, and he outmanaged Don Mattingly, and then, you know, everything is history from that point forward. Or he's just a bozo. I mean, you do have to entertain that, Sam. Like that the light never goes on. Like this idea that there's a method to all of what it is that he's doing, and that we'll all understand it one day. And or the other scenario could be that this dude he was a coconut from the outset.
And that's also a very realistic possibility. And if we don't see any improvement on this stuff come later in the year, then yeah, that's going to be concerning. And we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. And it won't be fun when we get to it, because if this is the disaster with Tony, then it's a disaster with Buster and Manassian, and it's a disaster within the entire organization. And a team that's been wandering the desert for 10 years now goes wandering through the desert for several more years right now. So final hour coming up here on the show. It is the Orange and Black Weekend Wrap, brought to you by Fremont Bank, here for you, here for good.
Paid advertisement by Ovation Law Firm, a California law firm. Some cases may be referred to partner attorneys. No attorney-client relationship is formed without a signed agreement. Past results do not guarantee future outcomes.
Attention, California vehicle owners. Feeling worn down by a 2022 or newer car that won't stop breaking down? We know the sleepless nights, the missed hours at work, the money and pride tied up in a vehicle that keeps letting you down. If your 2022 or newer purchased or leased vehicle has had repeated problems or been in the shop for over 30 days, California's Lemon Law is on your side. You could be entitled to a full refund, replacement vehicle, or a cash settlement. We've helped thousands of people get real relief, and we'll fight the manufacturer so you don't have to. There's never a cost to you. For a fast, free qualification check, call now at 800-535-0310. That's 800-535-0310. 800-535-0310.
Meet Sophia, a huge soccer fan. With her Real Unlimited from Total Wireless, she's streaming 3 games, video calling her cousin in Mexico,
and running the quiniela all on my new Samsung Galaxy.
She's practically running the whole tournament from her phone.
Good thing I have Total Wireless.
Switch to Total Wireless Total Max 5G or All Access plans to get on a network that won't put you second. Plus, a Samsung Galaxy on us. Total Wireless, your own Real Unlimited. Offer ends 7/8/2026 or while supplies last. Device taxes and fees may apply.
We all know what the 2 best words in sports are. Game 7. But the number 7 has even more meaning in vodka. Because when a vodka is 7 times distilled, it creates a smooth, premium taste that is unbeatable. And there's no better vodka than New Vodka. Spelled N-U-E, New Vodka is 7 times distilled, not 7 times the price. It's an award-winning, American-made vodka that is smooth enough to sip and bold enough to mix. So at a time when everything costs more, New Vodka is the best deal in town. Pick up a bottle of New Vodka at your local liquor store today and cheers to something new. Visit newvodka.com to find out more. That's NUE Vodka.com.
You listen to 95.7 The Game for the best sports insights. Now, use that same power to grow your business. When you advertise with us, you're reaching a massive audience of local consumers and business decision makers every day. Let our team help you build a game plan that delivers results. Scale your business and win the market. To get started, visit Advertise with 957 The Game at Odyssey.com. That's Advertise with 957 The Game at AUDACY.com.
Looking to get your next project done right without running all over town? At Ashby Lumber, everything you need is in one place. From premium lumber and building materials to doors, windows, decking, and hardware, we've got it all, ready when you are. Whether you're a contractor on a deadline or a homeowner starting something new, our team knows the products and helps you get it done right the first time. 2 locations, Berkeley and Concord. Ashby Lumber, one stop, done right.
Want to talk about low testosterone or impotence? No way, right? But did you know 1 out of 4 men suffer from this condition? Listen to Dr. Robert Rowley from Prime Male Medical.
At Prime Male Medical, we specialize in acoustic wave therapy, sublingual lozenges, injectable medications, and testosterone treatments.
Get your first visit, PSA test, testosterone test, Doppler ultrasound, and a year of follow-up visits for just $99. Go to PrimeMaleMedical.com or call 415-761-4037. 415-761-4037.
This is a special notice to all U.S. taxpayers with back taxes owed to the IRS. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes, you may now be eligible for relief through current IRS initiatives for struggling taxpayers. In some cases, taxpayers may qualify to reduce as much as 99% of what they owe. You may already be experiencing wage garnishment, liens, levies, or audits and be unaware of this important information. Call Guardian Tax now to see what relief you may be eligible for at 800-404-6851. By taking action today, you may be able to stop all collections and resolve your tax problem before your tax problem gets worse. Tax experts are standing by to review your case and fight to slash your debt dramatically. Don't let your tax problem get worse and miss this time-sensitive opportunity. Check your eligibility with Guardian Tax now. Call 800-404-6851. 800-404-6851. That's 800-404-6851.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ-FM in HD1 San Francisco on Odyssey Sports Station. Always live on the free Odyssey app, Twitch, and YouTube. Powered by First NorCal Credit Union.
On the ground, Arias from deep third, got him! And that's a perfect game. And the Giants mobbing Matt Cain on the pitcher's mound. What an unbelievable performance by Matt Cain.
Now back to the Orange and Black Weekend Wrap on 95.7 The Game.
God, it's been 14 years since Dwayne Kuiper made that call on NBC Sports Bay Area. Was it called Comcast Sportsnet back then?
I think so.
I think it was called Comcast Sportsnet back then. That play, Arias from deep third, that was the final out of Matt Cain's perfect game. 14 years ago today, Dan.
That's scary.
That, God, I feel old.
Hey, can we talk about Arias at second base? What we're going to do with this guy?
Arias?
Yeah,
right. Luis Arias. Well, we had John. Yeah, I mean, we've said he looked like Kobe. That was always his thing. He was like the baseball version of Kobe Bryant, at least in his appearance, not in his play. Pablo Sandoval started that game, actually, at third base, and Bochy made the move to go to Arias at third for the defense there, and ended up working out. I wonder if Tony would have done that. I guess he wouldn't have to, though, because he's got Chapman.
I still have never seen anybody shaded more towards Triples Alley than that night with Gregor Blanco.
One of the great catches of all time. He was positioned very well there. And, oh, God, the way he ran that down.
No right fielder has ever gotten to a ball to this day, and I don't think they will ever get to a ball that deep into the gap than that night.
Funny thing about that game that night, I'm watching that game, and I was at my mom's house at the time because I was after my freshman year of college. And we decided to go out for a walk for a little bit. So I actually didn't see like the 5th and 6th innings. And I came back on like the 7th, then the 8th inning. It's like, well, wait a minute. Hold on a second. This is just an average baseball game. There's nothing to bring up here. There's nothing to lose our minds about. And then, Blanco makes that catch, and then the 9th inning comes along. And my dad was actually at that game.
Was there ever more loved and hated player than that of Gregor Blanco?
Oh, my God. Gregor Blanco, man.
The milkman?
Great.
Oh, not Gregor Blanco. I was thinking of, I'm sorry. I was thinking of Melky.
Oh, well, Melky, that's a different. No, Gregor Blanco, here's my thing with Gregor. Great Giant during his time here. 2-time World Series champ. Good Lord, he was useless at the plate those last few years. Yeah. I called it the Gregor Blanco curse after a while, Dan. Like, the Giants could be humming offensively. Everything's going well. Gregor Blanco comes up. Oh, well, that was a fun inning. Maybe we can pick up again next inning. I mean, they went on a World Series run in 2014 despite having basically an automatic out in the number 1 spot that entire run, except for that home run he hit in Game 2 against the Royals.
He was brutal.
So, I mean, it was brutal. But, hey, it worked out for the Giants there. You said you want to talk about Luis Arias. John Heyman joined Willard and Dibbs earlier this week, and he talked about what Luis Arias' trade value is on the trade market.
Arias has been great defensively, and I don't know if it's Ron Washington or whatever, but he's obviously turned himself into a very good second baseman. And personally, I think he's valuable as a guy who puts his bat on the ball consistently. There aren't guys like that, and I think it's a big value to a team to have somebody like that rather than just have a bunch of all-or-nothing guys. And I think he should have good value. Now, he's proven himself at second base. I don't know that he's proven at the other positions, but you're going to need to find teams that need a second baseman, which is a particular specific thing. And there probably will be a few other second basemen out in the market. Gleyber Torres could be out there. I think there are a couple others that might hit the trade market as well. That could affect things. So I'm not looking windfall for that. I do think that Logan Webb would be the big one for the Giants if they did that trade. And I think you get something for Ray, although Ray's salary's high. I would say Rise and Ray, you could get something okay, but nothing to really make over the team, which is part of the reason I think they wait and see what goes on with the team. I don't think they're getting anything great for anybody other than Webb. I can't even believe you said that.
So that response went all over the place there. As far as what team would take Luis Arias, I mean, I'm looking at second baseman around the league right now, Dan. Maybe, I mean, I don't know, with the A's, they're not really in it anymore. I don't know if the Giants would do a trade with them.
Well, before you even think about teams, are you on board that he has to go?
I think it's kind of, the way I look at it is this: Luis Arias is a privilege. He's the kind of player, it's a privilege to have him. When he's playing as well as he is and the team is not, there's no point in holding on to him, especially if you're not going to bring him back beyond next year. I'd like for that to happen, but as we brought up earlier, I don't think it really makes roster sense. There is a part of me that says extend him and figure it out later, but that's kind of the problem we're in right now with Devers and Chapman. So maybe it's not wise to do that. And I think it only becomes even palpable to have that conversation if you're trading Chapman to begin with, or Devers, I guess. I default to Chapman because I just think that's the easier one to trade than Devers. But yeah, I don't think there's any. I don't think it makes sense to bring him back, unfortunately. If this team was contending, absolutely. It's the reality of our situation, though.
Yeah, and then it's going to be just another huge contract. like that of Chapman, like that of Thomas.
He's got to keep it up too, which maybe he does.
Exactly.
Luis Arias is pretty consistent.
And again, I harken back to this, that it's going to be a lengthy contract. I would
probably
imagine
5-6 years, maybe 4-6 years.
7 years. He's going to want to be tied up, and he's going to want to be taken care of. It's the whole reason why he put this thing together, is so that he can get paid, and not get paid for a year or two, but to get paid for a long time. And so, do the Giants want to go down that road again? And they got a couple of ball and chains on the infield already. So I think they absolutely. It just makes too much. If you're just to be rational about this, he's got to go. Forget about everything that he's done in terms of. He's so much fun, man.
I love Luis Arias. He's, as I always say, he's 10-10, no notes. I literally have nothing negative to say about him. And I thought we were going to have to make excuses for his defense this year. His defense has been phenomenal. Yeah. So June 15th, which is this Monday, is the right? Yes. That is the first day that Luis Arias can be traded. So the door's about to open. The window for trading Luis Arias is about to open. So maybe it happens right away. You've said that you should trade him as soon as possible. I kind of agree with that, especially with his value being as high as it is right now. It sucks. It's like, we talked about the Melky Cabrera comment that came through here in the last segment, and that was an incredible 4 months of baseball until it just, went and ended. This Luis Arias comment that has gone through San Francisco this year, oh my God, what a treat. Like, can we change the Wall of Fame rules to get Luis Arias on? Like, that's legitimately where I'm at. Like, that is how much I have enjoyed watching Luis Arias on this team.
He's an Italian.
I don't believe he actually is. But he is absolutely someone who I would put on the Giants Wall of Fame just because of how much I've enjoyed him for the 2.5 months that he's been here.
Okay, just made the season.
Let's just entertain this
He's
for a
the
second.
future. He's the present.
Let's just go here for a moment. So Elliot Ramos was taking some at bats reportedly.
So I actually asked Tony about Ramos yesterday, and basically, Tony said he's ahead of schedule. He's rearing to get back out there, all the stuff that you want to hear. Then I followed up with, well, okay, do you have a timetable? And he's like, I don't want to speak out of turn on that, so I don't really know on that one there. So it sounds like Ramos is making good progress here, but it doesn't sound like a return is super imminent. We're probably going to see a rehab assignment at one point for Ramos. Let's see. I'm trying to pull up.
Well, my point is that he's got to be traded before Ramos is ready to go.
Probably, yeah. That'll free things up there. So here's what Tony said. I think I'd be out of turn if I jumped ahead of that far. I think there's a staircase there, and you talk about word salad.
Oswald Bates.
I think there's a staircase there, and all I know is he's at a certain step on the staircase, but he's got to get there faster than most thought he would. There you go. That is what Tony said yesterday. He's progressing up the staircase, but he's not at the staircase step that he needs to be at.
All right, let's just say this.
I think that those two sort of go hand in hand, do they not? When Elliot Ramos comes back, you can't have Luis Arias on this team. It's bad enough. Where does Harrison Bader play?
I honestly have not really thought about where Harrison Bader
he's got a 2-year contract.
I thought he had a 1 year.
2 years.
Was he 1 or 2? It was 2. Oh, good Lord. 2?
Yeah.
Ugh. You want to talk about deals you regret.
You got to play him.
That's a guy you might have to eat something. I don't see how Bader fits at all on this team in any way. Like, I'd rather
dollar store Aaron Rowan.
That is Aaron Rowan is a dollar store Aaron Rowan. Bader's a guy I had so much higher expectations for Harrison Bader there. We got some calls on the line here. I want to clean up some of these calls here a little bit. All right, Risotto, you ready? Let's see what's popping. Let's go to Mitch in New Jersey. Mitch, how you doing, man?
What's cracking, guys? Hope you had a good week.
I did, Mitch.
I tell you this, Bryce is the Adam Dunn 2.0, man. He just has to hit the gym and put on some more muscle, man. It's about time, He's only, 22?
21.
I think we got some talent. 21? Oh,
Mitch, what did you make of him saying he wants to be the face of the franchise?
I think he should already. Because let's hold
Arias?
Chapman, maybe we can take him, and Davis. Everyone wants to take that contract. Maybe we should pay some of that contract. Because what were they thinking trading for him? No one forced to do something.
Possibly.
Right?
Again, yeah.
Let's get
Yeah.
young this season.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get young. It's too late for Bo and Josh Nail, so hopefully that's the last time I hear. You'll be hearing me say Bryce and Adam Dunn in the same sentence.
Yeah. How you feel about Tony these days, Mitch?
Tony, he's his first year. He's going to have his ups and downs. Right now it's downs. And the Knicks, they got to close out tonight. Let's not give them any chance. San Antonio, they've been so lucky with their draft choices. Even with Bryce, even with Derek Harper. I was supposed to say Bryce Harper.
I got a ticket for Game 6, Mitch, so I'm with you.
Ooh, you got to burn down the city with them all?
Hey, Mitch, where are you driving to? That's always entertaining. Is he gone?
Yeah, I'm driving to the gym. Tomorrow I'm going to drive to Staten Island. Yeah, great pizzeria. Joe and Pat's. They have one in Manhattan. So it's near the Manhattan Bridge.
Are you getting a slice or a whole pie?
I'm going to bring a whole pie home for the family. I'm going to have a couple of slices with my brother.
Attaboy.
I tell you, San Antonio, I was going to say, San Antonio, why they play with a center and 4 guards? What happened to the good old days of center, 2 forwards, a point guard, and a shooting guard? This man, that's where the Knicks, they got to close out tonight. What's the name of the chance? Cat's going to have a great game, so will Josh. You watch.
I hope so, brother.
Let's hope so. Thank you for the call, Mitch. How you feeling about the Knicks tonight? You think they're going to close out tonight?
Don't get me going.
Let's
stay Giant focused.
All right. You know who's going to keep you Giant focused? It's our guy. It's Steven. It's Ruderman.
Oh!
We're going to make him recreate the Bryce Harper walk-off grand slam. What's going on, Steven? Thanks for calling in. I'm glad you're awake.
Oh, thanks for having me, guys. How you doing?
Are you ready for your intro? Ladies and gentlemen, it's time once again for Ruderman. So, Ruderman, every week we're going to let you recall. It doesn't have to be the Bryce Eldridge home run. That's sort of the obvious one. But every week you're going to call in and you're going to replay, as only Ruderman can do, a play-by-play call from the week that was for San Francisco Giants baseball. Is there a play that stood out to you? If you want to do Bryce Eldridge, you can do it, but you're going to give us the play-by-play.
I think I do want to do Bryce Eldridge. Here's the set. 2-0. Here's the pitch.
Ruderman, hold on. Let us set the stage. Let us set the stage. Hold on, man. This is just like tossing to him. Hold on, Ruderman. Just you're like one of those horses in the gate. Just relax for a second. Okay.
I'm impulsive. I can't help it.
So Ruderman is going to take us back to Monday night. Oh no, this was on what was this? This was on Wednesday.
This was Wednesday afternoon.
Wednesday afternoon.
He was there actually.
Wednesday afternoon.
He stayed the whole game.
The 9-1, they were trailing 9-1. This is the Grand Slam home run. Ruderman, who is a friend of the program, is going to take us back to Wednesday to the breakout moment when Bryce Eldridge goes deep. Ruderman, take it away.
2 balls, no strikes. The set by the left-hander. Here's the pitch. There's a swing at a high fly ball. Out to right. Cruz drifting back and starting to carry. Cruz still drifting at the wall. It's gone! I don't believe it. The Giants have won it.
It's a good call there.
I don't know why I get a kick out of this guy. Awesome call.
Good stuff there, Steven. Steven, after the words, you were there when you heard Bryce say he wants to be the face of this franchise. What was your reaction when he said that?
I think he deserves it. I think this is a very talented player. This might be the best, at least the best power hitter, the first true slugger the Giants have had since Barry Bonds. Sam, you and I were talking about this last night, how like a true definition of a slugger is like a 40, 50 home run guy.
Yeah, I think 40 home runs, yeah.
It's the first slugger this team has had since Bonds, and I think this guy is going to be the face of the franchise. This kid is really good, and we're just seeing the beginning of it.
Hey, Ruderman, is it true that you and Sammy fell in love or became good friends back on a message board hating on Bruce Bochy back in the day?
We're really going to discuss this here?
Yes.
Yes.
The cat's already out of the bag, Steven. It's all right. You can say it.
It was, 2009 and 2010 was where I truly learned about the marathon of a 162-game baseball season. I mean, I'm not going to lie. Bruce Bochy made a lot of moves in those early years that were not good, and I think he got better with age. But there were valid reasons to want him gone. I mean, some of the pitching changes he made, especially down the stretch in 2009, were very bad. The way he handled Jeremy Affeldt in the bullpen that year, the obvious looks of disgust Affeldt gave him when Bochy pulled him on 3 separate occasions late that year. There were valid reasons to want changes after that season. But after 2010, I mean, you really couldn't complain, right?
Well, so Steven, the moment I brought up was obviously the Mount incident with Don Mattingly. That was the night at Dodger Stadium when he got Mattingly there and got egg all over Mattingly's face. That was the night that the last Bruce Bochy doubter vanished, and then everyone was all in on Bochy the rest of the way. And we're talking about Tony right now and the skepticism around him. I'm curious, do you think that Tony can keep growing, learning on this job, this on-the-job training here, and improve as a manager enough to where he can win over the doubters that are here right now in the same way that doubters once existed for Bruce Bochy until he won them over himself?
He still made a bad move going to Sergio Romo in Game 3 of the NLDS, pulling Sanchi for Romo and Bobby Cox going with Eric Hensky. Anyway, Tony, I think I would give Tony an honest C- for this year. His bullpen managing hasn't been the greatest, but Buster completely set him up to fail. Personally, someone like him should have been in the minors first as a manager. I think Tony absolutely has what it takes to be a big league manager, but I think making the dramatic transition from college to the big leagues, and especially being given just a garbage bullpen, he was just completely set up to fail. With that being said, he better be back next year, and he better finish out this contract. I've already said this team is
Ruderman, can you do soccer? Or are you just baseball?
Soccer.
Can you give me a goal call last night? United States beating Paraguay.
I didn't even watch the game. I don't even know what happened.
Which is funny because I was watching and he was sitting right next to me. That just shows how little he was actually watching it. He's a baseball guy, Dan.
All right.
That's what we love him for. So
I'm a baseball lifer.
Rude, before you called in, we were talking about trading Luis Arias. Obviously, that's probably going to happen. How much would you listen on a Logan Webb trade offer?
It's going to suck to get rid of both of those guys. Logan Webb is, he's the elder statesman of this team, the one remaining guy who was here under Bruce Bochy. But I think if you can get some major prospects for Logan Webb, especially pitching prospects, you got to take it. It sucks, but as I said, this team is rebuilding right now. They've been rebuilding since last July. That's why I think they were really going all out on this season. And if you can get a big prospect for Logan Webb or more, as I said, especially pitching, because as good as the guys have been developing right now, they don't have any real pitching prospects. You got to take it. The next 2 years are probably, we could try to compete in the next 2 years, but they're probably not going to really be anything special. You're probably not looking at like a true competitive playoff championship caliber team until 2029. So if you can get really good prospects for Webb, pull the trigger.
Might have to. All right, Steven. Thanks.
Webb deserves.
Say that again.
Webb deserves it. He deserves better than this. Only one winning season and one trip to the playoffs. He deserves a team where he can have a chance to win it all and pitch in the playoffs.
Ruderman, we'll see you next week with a play-by-play call.
All right, thanks, guys.
See you at the park later, buddy. And that was our friend Steven Ruderman there.
Let's follow
Arias. Anyway, yeah, he covers
Ruderman,
Giants for Sports Radio Service, and also hear him on a couple Cal games.
Mitch and Ruderman back to back. Wow,
quite an eclectic group right there.
Let's go to mid-range.
Yeah, let's clean up some of these calls here. Let's go to Chris in Santa Clara. Thinks this is a mid-range team. I assume he doesn't mean about shooting though for a basketball. Chris, how you doing, man? You're on the wrap.
Okay, Hey, man, thanks. Yeah, hey, greetings from Santa Clara, land of Bad Bunny and World Cup and algebra proficiency. So I think, you got it. So, statistically, I think one thing you guys aren't necessarily really focusing on is that if the Giants were to play simply at the level of the Cardinals for the rest of the year, and the Cardinals are the top wild card team right now, right? That would mean the Giants would climb up to 79 and 83. So that's how far down they are right now. If they play at 500 the rest of the way, they're going to be at 74 and I think it's 88. And if they stay where they're at, it's going to be 67 and 95. So the question I've got for you is, wouldn't it be better to simply realize that this is a mid-range team? This is kind of the version of the JV, and enjoy what they have, keep a rise, realize you're going to be stuck with the players that have the long-term contracts, and kind of shift this around to saying, hey, you know what? Once every couple of games, once every 3 games, it's going to be kind of exciting. Other than that, enjoy the ballpark, realize it's going to be a few years looking ahead, but don't let go of a rise because the fan base likes him. And he's good.
No, I hear you, Chris. Thanks for that call. I in a perfect world, I'd love to keep Arias, but unfortunately, we don't live in a perfect world. And the reality is just he is more useful to a team that's trying to win right now, like, say, the St. Louis Cardinals, than he is to a team like the Giants that isn't trying to win now. And if you want this team to be good again in the future, which I think, show of hands, yeah, we can raise our hands. We all want this team to be good in the future. At least I do. The prospects you get back for Luis Arias are going to get you there quicker. It stinks. I would love to absolutely keep Luis Arias, but as I said at the top of the segment, that's a privilege. And unfortunately, the Giants have lost that privilege to keep a guy like Luis Arias.
Yeah, no matter how you shake this out, he's got to go. He just has to go, unfortunately.
It stinks, but hey, it's been a fun ride, and we can always say that we got to enjoy a little bit of Luis Arias. And regarding the Logan Webb thing that Ruderman brought up.
Ruderman?
It would take a lot for me to want to say yes to a Logan Webb trade. I mean, I'm the Giants fan who has, Logan Webb, he's my favorite player on this team. I love the fact that I've gotten to chat with him as much as I have over the years. That part of me would be devastated to see him go. But as Steven said at the end, he does deserve better. I look at that Brewers team, you can absolutely see him slotting between Mizrowski and Harrison in that rotation. And that's probably one of your top rotations in the playoffs. That is a rotation that can beat the Dodgers in a 7-game playoff series if you add Logan Webb to that rotation. And the Brewers, they got a lot of good prospects you can go get.
Well, that's the only way
you can go get Blake Burke. The former Tennessee. There you go. I set that up purely for the Blake Burke reference there. Or the Braves even will be another great team. I think if you slotted him in between Bryce Elder and Spencer Strider in that rotation with that offense, God, Logan wouldn't know what to do with all that run support.
I think the only way you can look at this is what you just mentioned. What are the prospects you're getting back? Unfortunately,
you have to get blown away.
Unfortunately, as much as we like Logan Webb, I'm not doing you any favors. I know I should. I'll send you to Atlanta. I'll send you to Milwaukee if I get good packages back, if I get good prospects. It's what is it that I'm getting in return that benefits me? You have to be selfish. You cannot look at this and saying, he's been such a good soldier for the San Francisco Giants. Let's do right by him and trade him to a team where we may not get as much in return.
Oh, no. I'm not saying you do that. I absolutely agree with you there.
Just want to clarify.
No, but I say Brewers or Braves. I mean, I think those are teams they're not going to trade him to the Dodgers, obviously. I mean, maybe there's an American League team he gets traded to, who's doing well in the American League right now. I mean, the Yankees, obviously, and send him and Devers over to New York. That would make them really good.
But my point is,
the White Sox are another team he could, or not the White Sox, the Mariners would be a good.
But if a team that isn't very good is offering you a better package, that's where he has to go.
I mean, what team is going to do that?
Well, exactly. I'm just saying, or it's a mediocre team, or a team that's not the Yankees or the Braves or the Milwaukee Brewers. Speaking of the Milwaukee Brewers, you see what happened to Kyle Harrison in one start out there in Las Vegas?
Oh, my God. Let's talk about that Las Vegas series a little bit on the other side. And then I do want to play some of this Bryce Eldridge sound we have. We actually had his old high school coach on the other day on the Morning Roast. He told some great stories. I want to play some of the stuff that he said. Hopefully we can squeeze all this into our last segment.
The one knock on Bryce Eldridge, that dude is slow, man.
Oh, God. That dude. And then Jeff and Martinez, I see you. I want to get to you first. Then we'll talk Vegas, and then we'll finish up. We'll do Jeff first, talk Bryce, and then we'll talk Vegas. We're going to squeeze all that in the final 24 minutes of the show. It is the Orange and Black Weekend Wrap, brought to you by Fairmont Bank. Here for you, here for good.
Boston, come in. I'm going to kiss you.
Are you curious about who offers the best deals on top-rated Samsung, LG, and Sony TVs? The answer is surprising. It's not online, and it's not the warehouse clubs. The best deals on top-rated TVs are at Video Only. Don't believe it? Then check out the trade-in deals at Video Only. How about $500 for your old TV? Try doing that online. Before you buy that new TV, drop into Video Only. If you don't, you'll be sorry.
Wow, what is all this? These screens, the food.
All for the game, bro.
Let us pitch in.
No need. I'm saving $1,000 bundling my wireless and internet with T-Mobile. I've got it all covered.
Goal!
Here to score big with T-Mobile. Families save up to $1,000 a year when they bundle 5G home internet with 4 phone lines on Experience Beyond. Compared to regular rates after third line free on Experience Beyond plan with internet bundle discount via monthly bill credits and auto-pay discount. Credit stop if you cancel or change plans.
Look who has extra pep in their step.
Well, I just finished my to-do list. I went to Lucky and got groceries for the week, and I was even able to pick up everything for those barbecues and pool parties we have planned. You know what's even better?
What?
I get money back on the entire trip.
How are you doing that?
By using Upside.
Upside? What's that?
It's a free app where I earn cash back on groceries, gas, and dining out. And right now, you can earn an extra $10 cash back bonus on your first grocery run at Lucky and Food Max.
So that extra pep comes from all that cash back. Looks like I need to download Upside.
You really do.
Roll into summer with a full grocery cart and extra cash back. Download Upside and use promo code SAVE6 to earn an extra $10 cash back on your first purchase at Lucky and Food Max. That's promo code SAVE6 for an extra $10 cash back. Remember, use promo code SAVE6.
Offers vary by user and location at participating merchants. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions.
With increasing summer temperatures, this is a good time to replace your home siding, decking, and fencing. Golden State Lumber and Showroom works closely with contractors to keep your home protected. AZEK Exteriors offers outstanding durability, is easy to install, and protects against fire and dry rot. And TimberTech Advanced PVC Decking has a Class A fire rating and is backed by industry-leading warranties. Visit goldenstatelumber.com for products that increase the value of your home. Golden State. When you succeed, we succeed.
This is Chris Dolan.
And I'm Vanessa Deniston, senior attorney from the Dolan Law Firm. Chris, what's with all these out-of-town personal injury firms coming into the Bay Area with these catchy jingles and funny names?
Unlike the Dolan Law Firm, most of these firms are from out of state or in LA.
The Dolan Law Firm is headquartered right here in San Francisco, going on 30 years.
We live here, we work here, we win here. The Dolan Law Firm. We're the best lawyers we hope you'll never need. DolanLawFirm.com.
NASCAR is coming to San Diego for the first ever race on an active military base. Next weekend, tickets are still available for the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series on Naval Base Coronado. Now, race fans can get 2 for 1 tickets to NASCAR Country Fest at Gallagher Square, Petco Park, June 20th, right after the checkered flag flies. Stephen Wilson Jr., George Burge, and a special tribute to Kyle Busch. Get 2 for 1 tickets before they're gone to NASCAR Country Fest at Ticketmaster.com.
You hear that? That can only mean one thing. Your WNBA team, the Golden State Valkyries, are back, and you don't want to miss a single moment in Valhalla. You can feel the energy. Get your tickets now at Valkyries.com.
Hi, I'm David.
I'm Chris.
And I'm John. We are the 3 brothers who own Jack's Restaurant and Bar. And we are here to... Not again. That was my line.
Boy, stop it.
Mom? What are you doing here?
Have you heard your commercials? They're terrible.
That's not our fault. You taught us how to cook delicious food.
Using only the freshest ingredients.
And to treat all our guests like family visiting our home. But you didn't teach us how to write catchy radio spots.
They remember that and get back to work.
Yes, Mom. Jack's, serving delicious breakfast, lunch, dinner, and drinks the way our mom taught us.
ilovejacks.com.
Every detail matters when designing a space that feels intentional. With rich tones, natural texture, and timeless character, Humboldt Sawmill Redwood products help bring thoughtful outdoor spaces to life. Redwood is non-toxic and stays cool to the touch even on the hottest days. A real wood alternative native to California that is naturally termite and decay resistant and beautiful too. Visit Ashby Lumber online or in store to explore our selection of Humboldt Sawmill Redwood products for your next project.
If life is a game to be won, then every child deserves to play on a level field. Children International is empowering young people in poverty on their journey by giving them the tools, the training, and the skills to shape their own futures. From the early days of development through all stages of growth and into employment. This is how, together, we can help end poverty for good. Learn more at children.org.
Pump up the volume.
Business moves fast.
Pump up the volume.
When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more.
Odyssey Sports is presented by ZipRecruiter. Find out why 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try it free at ZipRecruiter.com/team.
Now back to the best Giants talk in the Bay. The Orange and Black Weekend Wrap on 95.7 The Game.
The Giants got to light them up tonight against the Cubs.
Keep it going, baby.
Light them up. And that's what the song is. Light them up. I forget what the band's name is called.
He's asleep upstairs right now.
You know who's not asleep upstairs right now?
Bryce,
it's not
Eldridge.
Dan Devone, who's here with me here in the final minutes here, the Orange and Black Weekend Wrap. But it's also Jeff and Martinez. He's got some thoughts on the Giants. Let's go, Jeff. You're on the wrap.
All right. Thanks, guys. Yeah, I just wanted to say I think the Giants would be absolutely crazy to trade Arias at this point. If nothing else, I'd extend the guy, and here's why. He's 29 years old. He's already won 3 batting titles. Now he's playing great Gold Glove defense, and the guy never strikes out. I mean, he's a contact hitter. He's exciting to watch. He's young. He's got all these accolades already, and they want to trade him? How about no? How about build around a guy like that at the Keystone? I don't understand the thinking here. Get a closer. I mean, the Giants have proven in 10, 12, and 14 that they don't need a lot of superstars to win a World Series. You get a bunch of solid players like Blanco and the other guy who played left field for him, 56. I forget it. Andres Torres. You know, you get guys like that. You get a closer. You get some. You draft well, and you plug and play. It's not that hard to make the playoffs anymore. So I don't know. That's my take. I'd keep him. I'd sign him.
Well, then, here's the thing.
You're not going to find a better.
Jeff, I would love to keep Arias on this team too, as much as anybody. But then you have 4 veteran infielders locked into long-term contracts there. When you have 3 shortstops as your top 3 prospects coming up. And you got to figure out a way to get Casey Schmidt in the infield when Elliot Ramos comes back. And you got to figure out a way to get Bryce Eldridge in the lineup, too. That's a very difficult thing to do if you have Devers, Arias, Adames, and Chapman locked in long-term in your infield. So if you're not going to trade Arias, I'm curious, how would you alleviate that logjam there?
I would go ahead and see what I could get for Chapman. I'd take on half of his contract. I wouldn't mind. And by the way, the Giants have a ton of money to give Arias a decent amount of money on an extension. They make money hand over fist. So it's not like they're hurting for cash. Also, if a guy's not playing up to par and you want to get some younger bats in, then bench him. These guys are adults. They're getting paid either way. Play your best 9. As far as Schmidt goes, look, he's been great, but I'm still not entirely sold on the guy. He's had one great half year. He's had one great half year. You could probably get a lot of value for him. He's been streaky his whole career, and I'll admit he's opened my eyes this year. But again, it's not even July, you know. And I don't know. I mean, I want proven guys. I want a guy who's on the upside. Arias is only 29 years old. 3 batting titles, and now we're on Washington's turn him into a Gold Glover. So it's not that hard. Go get a closer. Go draft a closer. Go sign a free agent pitcher, starting pitcher, who's a 4 or 5 guy and who's got nasty stuff, and turn him into a closer. I mean, to me, it's like, here's the thing. The Warriors need a center. They'll be fine. The Niners need an offensive line. They'll be fine. And the Giants need to keep guys like Arias around. And I don't know, Webb, you're going to get the most value out of him. You're probably going to get some damn good pitching prospects out of him. And, you know, I love Webb, but, you know, I think that ship has sailed.
Awesome. Hey, thanks for that call there, Jeff. Just go get a closer. I will say this about Casey Schmidt. He, as fun as this season has been, he is in officially his first real rough patch of the season, Dan. In 11 games so far this month, he's hitting 189 at the plate. Has not drawn a walk this month, but then again, that's just everybody on this Giants team. No one draws walks. So is Casey Schmidt come back down to earth, or is he just in a rough patch? That's something we'll learn about over the next few weeks here. So before we finish things out here,
Kyle Harrison, Milwaukee.
Well, let's talk about Bryce Eldridge first. This is what he said on Wednesday about wanting to be the face of the franchise.
That's like moments you dream of as a kid. And I've always, I think about it every day that I'm just going to keep working hard because I want to be the face of this franchise, and that's something that motivates me every day. And that's like I said, I want to be in that moment. I want to be that guy. So having my first kind of big moment like that is very special. I don't know what other word to use for that.
So obviously, and that was very heartwarming for Giants fans to hear the fact that we do have a guy who we can start to see this team build around for the future. And Dan, we were so hyped about what Bryce did on Wednesday. We ended up tracking down his old high school coach, Mark Pudge Jorman, who was the head coach at James Madison High School, where Bryce went to high school in Vienna, Virginia. And I encourage everyone to go back and listen to it on the free Odyssey app or on YouTube. Just guy told so many incredible stories about the kind of player that Bryce was. And he talked about Bryce being the franchise. And why I'm excited about Bryce being the franchise is in part because of what Coach Jorman Pudge said about Bryce being that guy for the Giants.
The thing about Bryce is he's loyal. And the interviews I saw yesterday, we share texts, we text all the time, but I saw an interview last night where he's talking about wanting to be the face of the Giants organization. I know that's important for him, and I think he will, and he understands too that, he's still a young guy in this game, but he loves San Francisco. He loves that community. He loves, and now he's an East Coast guy at heart. He's a Baltimore Ravens fan. Don't tell him I told you that I let that out of the bag. He's always been matter of fact, one of the things I had to deal with in high school was he was being fished, and he was getting trolled a lot in high school by people on social media, and they like to do that. And it was over the Ravens, and some guy literally called me and my athletic director playing about, he shouldn't be on social media talking back like if this kid's is good, it's some hater. And so I'm like, hey, Bryce, just put the phone down, get off social media. Like, the thing about Bryce, man, Bryce is going to tell you what, he wears his heart on his sleeve. But I'm going to tell you right now, the loyalty thing is huge. So he was never leaving Madison High School. He was never, and again, a lot of kids do it. Again, I love all those qualities.
I just love that the loyalty here. He also said later on how much he loves this city. I mean, you talk about guys buying in, earlier, Dan. This is a kid, if he's going to buy in on this team and be in the face, which sounds like he is, this is why you feel good about this team no matter what happens this year. Because you have a guy that fans feel like they can now emotionally buy into, because this is something the Giants, going back their entire 140-plus year history, Dan, they've always been kind of defined by their homegrown slugger. Going all the way back to the 1800s, when there was, guys like William Ewing, go to the early 19...
William Ewing.
Yeah, William Buck Ewing. Yeah, you didn't have that on your bingo card being mentioned today. Whether it was Mel Ott, Bill Terry, the Willies, McCovey, and Mays, the Jacks, the Clarks, Will and Jack, to Barry, to Buster.
Well, Barry wasn't homegrown.
Well, yeah, but he grew up in the Giants dugout, which different kind of homegrown. But yes, good point there. That is always what's defined the Giants, and that's why you get excited about Bryce, is it feels like they finally have found that guy who fills that role. And you talk about buying in, however Logan feels about Tony, however Devers feels about Tony, however Chapman feels about Tony. As Shasky mentioned earlier, for the next 15 years, Bryce is the guy. If Bryce buys in on Tony, doesn't that, that's a feather in Tony's cap there, right? Because Bryce is the future. He's the future leader of this team. If Bryce is in on Tony, I feel like that makes Tony's job a lot easier as well. Or is that a stretch?
Yeah, it's a bit of a reach. It's a little early in the whole process. First of all, let's let this kid breathe a little bit before we start talking about 15 years from now. Let's let him just get through one season. Although he has all the characteristics, I'm in on him. In terms of hitching his wagon to Tony Vitello, yeah, I think that has to sort of play out. And I don't know that he has the latitude or the strength to, or, if he has the ability, the cachet, if
he walks into Buster's office and says, keep Tony here. Well, I'll say that, this is where I think Tony might be a great manager, though, for Bryce. Because, again, Tony's known to work with younger kids. This might be a good opportunity for Tony to, really kind of shape Bryce Eldridge and be that perfect match for Bryce. Well, and if Buster sees Bryce and Tony as a perfect match, I think that kind of walks Tony in further.
Yes and no, because, if you were to sort of read between the lines, remember when Bryce Eldridge was asked about how do you feel about not playing every day or pinch hitting? And without saying it, he was kind of like, yeah, it doesn't make sense to me either. If you remember that early on, and he was just like, yeah, but it's sort of out of my hand. But he did intimate that this is This is a little weird.
Well, we actually asked Pudge Jorman about that the other day. Here's what Coach had to say about if there's any other frustration with Bryce when he was not in the lineup.
Bryce never flinched. He knows it's part of the process. It's part of becoming a big leaguer. I mean, here's a guy, he goes in, he hits on the field for the first time after the draft, and, Barry Bonds is sitting there, right? And he calls him LTP. Bryce is like, Coach, I didn't know what LTP meant. And he's like, then he told him, he's like, Light Tower Power. He goes, I know who you are. And so it was one of those. And so, I think that stuff was really cool at first. I think he enjoys, he's comfortable around those guys. Like, it was fun watching him with Aaron Judge and when they played each other in that World Baseball scrimmage, with the World Baseball team. And, you look at Aaron Judge, he's a big man. Bryce is right there eye to eye with him. So I think those things have been good.
So again, he was trusting the process.
But what does that got to do with him being pulled by Tony Vitello?
By being what?
By him not playing.
Well, again, if you're trusting the process, he's trusting that.
That's a bit of a reach.
Hey, you know what?
If he had called up Pudge and said, hey, man, this dude isn't letting me hit. I just got called up here. I'm pissed off. Or if he called up Pudge and saying, I just got called up, but I'm buying the process. I buy it. I think that was sort of a general sort of overview on the guy as sort of his big league experience. But I think if we were to buy anything into the Tony Vitello and the Bryce Eldridge experience of the relationship between the two, I would say it has the exact opposite effect that he's been sort of he was treating with kid gloves when he said, I don't really understand it. That translate behind closed doors when he's talking to his buddies who are also 20, 21 years of age or like, dude, screw this guy. I don't think he swallowed that very well. I don't think that went over well with him initially. But we'll pass that.
And again, it's a lot of these guys you ask them, you don't know how honest they're going to be because they're not going to want to ruffle feathers or strike. Because if Bryce does say, let's say everything I've said this morning is wrong, possibly. And Bryce I hated it when I wasn't in the lineup, but I'm so glad I'm performing well now because I'm showing Tony what's up.
Oh, I don't think
you don't want that microscope on you at that point. So you got to take these people at their word, and I'll let you, the listener, decide how much of that word you want to take. Got a few minutes left in the show here. You brought up what happened with Kyle Harrison in Las Vegas.
Baseball in Vegas?
Oh, my God. What are we doing? 99-degree first pitch on Wednesday. What are we doing making these guys play in the middle of the afternoon on Vegas? In Vegas, I would be pissed off if I was the Brewers having to go down and do that series in that little bandbox of a minor league ballpark in Las Vegas in that scorching heat. They got the Rockies doing it this weekend against the A's as well. Why are you doing it in June? Do it in April. What the hell are we doing, MLB?
Well, the bigger question that I have is, what do you think about baseball in Las Vegas with that thin air and the wind blowing out?
What's the elevation in Las Vegas?
It's.
Can we get while Risotto Google that? Because I don't think it's any higher than, it's not higher than Denver.
No, it's not higher than Denver. But I think those are two places. It's interesting that you mentioned Denver. I think this, in retrospect, is you should have never played baseball in Vegas and you shouldn't have played baseball in Colorado.
I don't think you can. I don't think baseball. Baseball works in Denver in that fans will show up. Rocky fans do show up.
Yeah.
I don't think you're capable of putting together a consistent winning team in Denver.
Who's going to pitch there?
Exactly. I just think it's impossible. You're just going to need to have a team that just happens to get hot out of nowhere, like that 2007 Rockies team or like that 2018 Rockies team. But I don't see how you could possibly.
Well, I think Vegas could be really similar to that. Okay, maybe it's not.
You're seeing. Well,
the winds though, but it's
going to be a dome stadium.
It's going to be a retractable dome.
They're going to be in a dome, so that'll be helpful.
2,000 feet above sea level.
Okay. So
and Denver is almost a mile pretty much.
Well, yeah, because they got the purple seats that mark a mile. Then I think Chase Field is about 1,000-ish feet above sea level, something like that. So it's, there's some thin air there. But it's the Golden Knights and Las Vegas Aces. They've been working pretty well in Las Vegas. The Knights are an OG Vegas team. They were born in Las Vegas in 2017, and hopefully Carolina can do some Uelman's work and prevent them from winning another Stanley Cup. But they've had a lot of success there, and I remember when I was down there for the Super Bowl a couple years ago, Dan, and Shasky and I went out and got dinner on the Las Vegas Strip that Monday night, and there was a Knights game that night, and the entire Strip was packed with Golden Knights jerseys. And I remember looking around and being like, yeah, I can absolutely see why you could think that this could all be A's jerseys one day.
The future!
Or at least, a lot of out-of-town jerseys as well. I don't know how much they're going to be embraced down in Las Vegas. The Aces moved from San Antonio, and they've been since embraced there in that town. That's a WNBA team.
Yeah.
WNBA champion Mark Davis running that one. The Raiders, though, I don't know if the Raiders have been embraced in Vegas.
They have.
Really? Okay.
I think so. I mean,
I don't know how much that is there, but I'm sure it could work. But what happened on Monday night? Good Lord! Well, this final score of that one
14-13, I think.
15-14. I believe there were 1, 2,
what was
3. I think
Kyle Harrison's stat line? Like 8 runs in 2 innings and 5.
We had 11 home runs that night. 3 of them from Harrison. He went 2 1/3, 8 runs, 8 hits, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, and again those 3 home runs there. He threw in that game 71 pitches. Saw his ERA go from 157 to 272 in one start that night.
That's serious stuff, man. I mean, because a lot of these guys base their contracts and their earnings off of those numbers. Not to mention that physically that can stick with you, right? If they plant that little seed in your head, we'll see how he does in his next start.
He gave up 8 runs in that start. In his previous, so that start 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So his previous 11 starts, he gave up 10 runs. That's just how bad of a night that was for Kyle Harrison. But good Lord, why are we making teams play in that just tiny little ballpark?
Are you a fan of Vegas?
The city or as a baseball
city.
venue? I've been a couple times. It's a fine town. Yeah. I like going there. I haven't been.
Would you ever live in Vegas?
I don't think I would want to live in Vegas. No, God, where it's 105 degrees on a cold day in the summer.
Summers are
Vegas and Phoenix, why you live in those places is completely beyond me.
I'll be there at the end of July for 1 day.
Why?
So
are you still stalking Perlman?
Not stalking Perlman.
Has he got a show?
My brother is afraid of flying, and at the end of July, we're going to go on a little test flight just to try and get him over his fear. And we're going to Vegas just for the weekend and then coming back literally the next day.
Oh, okay.
And it's kind of
wait a minute.
Vegas is like a 2-day town anyway.
Wait a minute. Let's just back up your pasta. That's the last place you want to go with your brother for a test flight. And here's why. It's because of that mountain range. And you're flying in, and so the winds when you're coming into Las Vegas, for me, I fly, I won't say, a lot, but I fly frequently. I hate flying into Las Vegas because those winds wreak havoc. Landing in Las Vegas is one of the white knuckle scariest things I've ever done.
So you feel it in first class?
No, I'm just saying, there is no first class because usually
on the private jet,
you're usually on that Spirit Airlines or whatever those junkets are. That go
that's where you have to get out and push the plane to get it going, right?
Spirit Airlines is no more.
I've only flown Spirit once. It was
they charged me for water.
They just spitting it too.
I don't think they have any bags. It's literally if you're just bringing yourself, that's where you take Spirit, right?
Well, I did check it back. So I flew once on Spirit to Chicago and back in 2019 for a weekend vacation out there in Chicago over the 4th of July weekend. I'll be honest, I had no issues with my flight. The plane took off, the plane landed, I got there safe, I didn't lose any of my stuff.
Yeah, I did too.
I got on my flight.
Experience.
Yeah, was it the most incredible flying experience ever? No, flying is rarely an incredible experience though. If you keep your expectations low, Spirit worked out, which honestly you can say that about a lot of airlines these days.
I remember that, sometimes they make you check just about every bag because it's all about making money, right?
Oh, yeah.
They're just looking to scam you at every little turn. And so they have that little thing where they're like, if it fits into, this little model, luggage container.
Little small box that's smaller than any bag ever made.
It was like the size of a wallet. Nothing was going to fit there. We got to check it. It's going to be an extra $10.
Well, what I've done for a lot of flights nowadays, what I try to do is I don't check my bag, because I have my rolling suitcase. I finally broke down, got one of those a few years ago. I won't check it at the front. I'll try and get it through security and get it to the gate because they check it at the gate. It's complimentary for most airlines. So that's the hack I try to do. Now, there's one time I was in New York last year. I was flying back. from New York.
Well, if you get it to the gate and past the gate, then you can just walk on with it, right?
Well, yeah, but if I want to check, because it's not going to fit in the overhead bin.
All right.
Like my bag objectively is too big for the overhead bin. But
sometimes when you get to the gate, they'll say our plane is full and we need people willing to check in a bag.
And I jump on that because then when you do that, it's twofold. One, it's free, and two, when
you get to board earlier.
No. When you get off the plane, your bag is one of the last ones that's going to be put on the plane because it's arriving so late, which means it's going to be one of the first ones off the plane, and it's going to be one of the first bags on a little luggage carousel when you go to get your bag at baggage claim. So you get to get out of there a little bit faster. The only problem is, and this happened to me at was LaGuardia last year, I tried to get it through security, and the woman's like, your bag's too big. You got to go check it at the front desk. And I was like, what are you talking about? It's totally not too big. I can totally bring it through. It's fine. And she's like, no, go check it.
And I've never seen that before.
You can't, again, I'm only going to argue so much with a TSA person because then it gets to a point where now you become a problem. So she beat me on that one. But if you could get it through.
Have you guys ever had anything confiscated by TSA?
Not that I know of. I mean, I've had to pour out some water and stuff, but.
Yeah.
Every now and then I get the little piece of paper that says, hey, we searched your bag.
What did they take from me? They took from me something that I was trying to bring over because it was a bottle.
Well, were we smuggling?
No, it wasn't smuggling anything. But that stuff taken. The pasta. Don't go to Vegas. I'm telling you, if that's the first flight.
Nice subject change.
I didn't have a choice.
He picked this.
Go to L.A. or not? Well, L.A.'s. Go to San Diego,
or Sacramento. Even
I suggested L.A. I did suggest L.A.
It's a 45-minute flight. It's much easier.
That's what I said.
Your brother's crazy.
Right.
If my mom is listening, that's what I said.
Anthony, man, you're crazy.
Neat.
You know what else is crazy is this show's over now. We did it. We got to the end of it. A lot of fun stuff today. You're in
gone for a little bit.
Yeah, you're going to be celebrating a Knicks victory around
Sammy,
the world.
Let's not go there. It's still early, man. Still early.
All right. Well, if you are there on when night is Game 6?
It's Tuesday
night. All right. Try not to burn too much of the city down.
Thank you, Possum. Right on,
there you go. All right. Well, that is it for this edition of the Orange and Black Weekend Wrap. We'll be back next week, myself and a mystery guest to be determined later. It'll probably be Evan or Grandy. But until then, don't forget, everybody, Dodgers suck.
Later, dudes. Let her rip. Hang pen.
What if you could have the most reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi? And get this, what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years? During the Xfinity Summer Savings Event, now through June 15th, new customers can get our best price on gig Wi-Fi, just $50 a month for 5 years. And get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi. It's Wi-Fi that finds and fixes problems before you even notice them, like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a sixth sense. Plus, add one line of Xfinity Mobile Select and you can save an average of $60 a month over Verizon and AT&T. You can even try it free for a year. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities during the Xfinity Summer Savings Event. Get it now at Xfinity.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Savings based on 1 gig internet and 1 mobile select line compared to similar Verizon and AT&T plans over 5 years. After 12 months, regular rates apply to mobile select. Xfinity internet required. Speeds vary. Use of fiber coaxial cable.
Hey, Dan Dibley here. The world's biggest soccer tournament has arrived, and you can trade the entire tournament on Kalshi. On Kalshi, you can trade every match from the opening stage all the way to the final. Right now, Austria is trading at 74% to beat Jordan, meaning a $100 trade will get you $146 if they win. On Kalshi, you're trading against peers in a live market, meaning there's no house, and as the probability changes, you can buy in and out of your position. For limited time, download the Kalshi